For me, I'm going to say for now, this is an overreaction.
Buried him in the turf with his chin wrapped around his nostrils. He calls a timeout. Good wherewithal by Eli.
Great wherewithal.
This is sick. Put this to music. I don't think he stepped out either. That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen.
Welcome to the Week 7 edition of the Giant Overreaction, man. The New York Giants are sitting at 6-1, man. I'm extremely surprised and extremely grateful. Me and my homie, who's actually the reason why I am a Giants fan, my homie Patrick, man, we were joking around at the beginning of the season, and he said, man, I don't know what it is, man, but in my gut, I got a feeling there's something about this team, man. He talked about maybe getting 10 wins. And right now, the New York Giants, 7 weeks into football, already have 6 wins, man. We have exceeded a lot of people's expectations, including my own, man. The Giants are 6-1 for the first time since 2008. Sitting here on a 4-game winning streak. The Giants have won their first 3 road games for the first time since 2009. And we beat the Jacksonville Jaguars for the first time. On October 23rd, I tweeted this out right before the matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I said, Saquon is going to eat tomorrow. The Jaguars' run defense has lost a step since week 4. 19th in rushing yards per game over the last 3 games. They have allowed the second most receptions and receiving yards to running backs in the entire league. What a game by the New York Giants. They showed a lot of grit, a lot of fight, and a lot of heart in this one. The first drive, man, I was super, super ecstatic. I'm like, man, we're about to trounce the Jacksonville Jaguars is what it looked like. Darius Slayton finds his way into the end zone on a fade route from Daniel Jones. And the Giants had snapped a 14-game streak of not scoring on the first drive, man. So big kudos to Darius Slayton. Daniel Jones played a fantastic game, man. I think a lot of the naysayers are going to have to stay quiet this week on Daniel Jones. Let us down that first drive, man. The Jags answered extremely fast in this one, too, man, with a touchdown run from ATN. He was a problem all day for the New York Giants, man, and I want to get these numbers proper here. The Giants allowed ATN to rush for 114 yards on just 14 carries, 8 yards per clip. He had a touchdown. His longest run was 49 yards. He was pretty much the only thing going for the Jacksonville Jaguars in the rushing attack. Trevor Lawrence was 22 of 43 for 310 yards. So the defense really did not get off to a great start. They finished extremely strong in the fourth quarter. There were some big momentum shifts in this game. Jags up 11-10 and driving, and ATN fumbles right there in the red zone. A great play by Xavier McKinney to punch that one out. That was recovered by Julian Love. And another window, as I like to talk about for the New York Giants here. The Jags were up 17-14 in the fourth quarter, and the Giants get that big fourth down stop. Defense showed up, man, extremely strong in the fourth quarter. I know I'm not the only person that was worried about that defense the first 3 quarters of this game. And Saquon Barkley, man, having that brain fart there at the end of the game when we're trying to drain the clock out with about 3 minutes left. He had 2 opportunities to go out of bounds on runs, the last one being the more important one. Tries to get his knee down and give himself up. He ends up sliding out of bounds. The referees didn't do us no favors in this one, and they ruled Saquon Barkley out of bounds after looking at it under the tent. And, the Jaguars get one more shot there, reminding me of that Eagles game from last year early on where, Jalen Reagor dropped the ball at the goal line. The Giants defense stands strong after a catch. I think that was Evan Ingram late in the game there, down there at the goal line. And nonetheless, the defense makes a major stop there to save us and save Saquon Barkley, man, because I know media and fans would have been having a blast talking, a bunch of crap about Saquon Barkley and that blunder that he had at the end of the game there. But, man, nonetheless, the Giants get the win here, man, 23-17, man. I talked about it. I thought that the Giants being underdogs in this game by 3 was a disservice to the quality of work we've put out on the field so far this season. And we get the W by 6, man. So we prove Vegas wrong. I know I'm not the only one that's extremely happy on this Victory Monday, man. We definitely going to enjoy this. We've been smoking pack now for 3 weeks, man. Daniel Jones and the New York Giants have come across 3 incredible victories back to back here, man. And the schedule kind of lightens up here, man. I know people are looking at Seattle. They're going to be a tough test there. Geno Smith has been playing some good ball since leaving the New York Giants as the backup quarterback. But I look at the Seattle Seahawks, man. I think they're definitely a beatable team, man. And we already got 50 in the building early, man. Shout out to all of y'all, man. And let's start this off proper, man, and get to a couple of shout-outs before we get to the overreactions we're going to talk about today. I'm going to keep it real with y'all, man. 8 weeks into the season, I'm running out of overreactions, okay? We can't keep talking about, is Daniel Jones a franchise quarterback? You know, is this the coach of the year with Brian Dable? Like, we're running out of topics here because the New York Giants are pretty much answering all questions, man. Like any of the doubters, including fans like myself, man, that thought, you know, coming into the year, the Giants were only going to have about somewhere between 6 to 8 wins. They're already sitting on 6 wins here after 7 weeks, man. It's incredible. And I got to reiterate the fact that this is incredible for the youth out there and the people who have never seen the New York Giants win. Like, to be able to see us at 6-1 now, already this early into the season, man, with the playoffs looking like they're right there. I don't want to reach, but the playoffs is looking like they are right there, man. So big shout out to all the young New York Giants fans finally getting to see this team win, man, after 5 years of just, you know, extreme, brutal L's we've been taking, man. But let's start this one off proper, man, and get off into some shout-outs, man, and then we'll get to the overreactions, man. I got about 3 of them. We're going to keep this show nice and tight today so y'all can get out of here, enjoy y'all Victory Monday, and enjoy the rest of the Victory Week here. We get started a little bit late here at 1:30. I saw no Mets, no Nets, no Jets giving me a little bit of flack for that, man. But I had to sleep really good after this victory, man, and very unbelievable. I damn near passed out, man, like during the victory. And that last stretch of plays, I was all over the studio, man, running left and right, man. I started feeling dizzy. I know I'm not the only one that was feeling dizzy after that one because, man, they had us on a roller coaster. They was playing a lot of games with this fan base. And, you know, we almost – it just seemed like that was going to be the game that we were going to choke away, man. So thank God they didn't, man. I can't go without talking about the almost interception with that penalty call back. That's now 2 weeks in a row, man. Daniel Jones, you know, you look up and you go, is this the game where we're going to get the mistake? And it's not the game. Daniel Jones plays fantastic, man. Finished that game out. The rest of this team finished that game out. This was a very complete team victory, man, across the board, man. So shout out to the whole entire New York Giants staff, all the players on board, the fan base, man. We deserve this, man. The Giants have struggled for way too long to not deserve a couple of wins like this. But let's get to these shout-outs, man. Bright and early one time. Sank Zappa, what's going on, fam? In the building. He beat my man Jameson here. I don't even see Jameson in the chat. Salute to him. One time, and salute to no Mets, no Nets, no Jets. He said 1:30. Not after a big victory like that, man. You know I had to get that sleep, fam. You know what it is. And he also said LFG NYG, which is a little acronym that I've been running with all year now since no Mets, no Nets, no Jets brought that up. He says, proud of this team. DJ, you're playing top 10 football. Defense, we can do better. LFG, that's right, man. The defense has been holding us down all year long, but in this particular game, man, it was definitely a scary one. Shout out to the drunk lawyer one time, new face in the building one time. Appreciate you rocking with us on this Victory Monday. Jersey is buzzing. Daniel Jones, I'm loving. Dropping them bars too, man. I'm definitely digging that. Shout out to the drunk lawyer one time in the building. He says his Philly homies keep saying we're lucky. They could keep saying we lucky. We're going to keep counting up these victories and keep looking at that win column go higher and higher, man. Shout out to Sebastian one time in the building. Sac passe, mon cher. 6-1, baby. Let's go, Giants. I saw you defending us on a lot of different threads, brother. I definitely appreciate you, man. Shout out to Sebastian one time in the building. Jay Jean is in the building one time. Victory Monday, 4th Monday in a row. Too bad can't stay for long. Got to work. Meeting at 2 o'clock. Best of luck with that meeting, man. Hope you come back, circle around, and catch this Victory Monday vibe we about to present to y'all today. We got a bunch of good overreactions to talk about too, man. Even though I said I've been reaching for them the last couple of weeks, we definitely found a couple this morning. Shout out to Jay Jean in the building one time. Texas boy in the building. What's going on, fam? He says the Cowboys own Washington and the Giants. They're going to beat the Eagles on Christmas Eve. All right, man. Best of luck to y'all on that one, man. We got them Cowboys on Thanksgiving, so we're looking to get that victory too, man. That's going to be a very anticipated victory for the New York Giants that we've been waiting to get our hands on some NFC East rival foes, and the Cowboys seem to be up first in that matchup there. But shout out to Texas boy one time pulling up in the building, and a big salute to your Cowboys on that victory yesterday, man. That was a good victory against the Detroit Lions one time. Paul Wall in the building one time. What's going on, fam? Hope all is well with you, man. 6-1. with the big exclamation marks, man. Yeah, that 6-1 is fire, bro. I'm so happy. I could not be more excited about this New York Giants team, man. They're doing a hell of a job stacking up these victories early on in the season. Shout out to you, Paul Wall. I like that little twist on that Paul Wall vibe too, man. Hyphen Wade is in the building one time. He said, we in here again, and this time we 6-1. This is facts. This is facts. Shout out to you, Hyphen Wade, one time. Pulling up in the building, man. Let me see who else we got in the building. We got Brian. I know Brian's ecstatic after that Daniel Jones performance. He tweeted me out in the fourth quarter pretty much saying, hey, man, it's Daniel Jones time, and that was a fact, man. Shout out to Daniel Jones. Shout out to Brian one time in the building. Simon's in the building one time. Big Los in the building one time. The Beard is rocking with us on Victory Monday. Shout out to those Commanders. They got a big W against those Green Bay Packers, who definitely have came back down to real earth here, man, and have lost 3 straight, man. 2 to the NFC East, man. So shout out to the Commanders for getting that W one time. Shout out to Lou Mateo. He says, dope intro, bro. Definitely appreciate you pulling up. Mr. Mateo in the building one time. That's 3 weeks in a row. Shout out to Bloom in the building. Got the heart eyes. Yeah, man, I'm in love with this New York Giants team myself. Lucas in the building. Shout out to Lucas, man. Another double win week. Let's go, AATB in the building. Shout out to Lucas one time, man. Appreciate you rocking with us. Lake Nona's in the building with the Awthentik. What's poppin', Lake Nona? Hope all is well, fam. Willie Bean, 24 in the building. Only 2 teams have 6 wins, and the Giants are one of them. It's crazy, man, and the other one is in the NFC East, man. Cannot wait to get my hands on them Eagles, man. I'm kind of digging now that we've got some early wins and we got some NFC East games late in the season. It's going to come down to the wire, man. These games are going to be extremely important, man. Shout out to Flem Dog one time. Last week's trivia winner definitely came through in the clutch one time, man. And, yeah, shout out to Flem Dog. Big win for us, man. Make sure y'all tune in on Thursday. I'm sure that the Beards got something real special for us to give away. Actually, I already saw the gift that's going to be given away on Thursday's preview show. Make sure y'all pull up at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be a really good show. Shout out to the Flippin' Sports guy. I'm getting everybody. On a Monday morning like this, man, or Monday afternoon, my morning. Y'all notice that I always say Monday morning after Victory Monday for the Giants on Giant Overreaction, but these are my mornings. Technically, some of y'all probably been at work for a couple hours already and whatnot. But shout out to the Flippin' Sports guy one time. Those Cowgirls better be ready. An 8, maybe 9-win team coming in hot for the Turkey Bowl. That's definitely facts right there, man. Salute to you and salute to the Giants on a big victory. Edward Squires is in the building one time. Shout out to Edward Squires. He said, what's up, everybody? It's nice to be 6-1. It's fantastic to be 6-1, man. I'm super hype off the 6-1 and that victory against them Jaguars yesterday, man. That was a big game, and I wanted that one for bragging rights. A lot of people been talking. I had to pull out them receipts, you know, last night on Twitter and do a little bragging of my own, man. Shout out to Alpha Mason 8406 one time in the building. He says, "At Awthentik, salute to you and your Giants, bro. As a Cowboys fan, I did not see this coming. As a Giants fan, I did not see this coming." I mean, like, you know, I expected, you know, a decent start and whatnot, but I didn't expect the Giants to be sitting there no 6-1. If we were 500 around this mark right now, I'd be extremely excited. So yeah, I mean, I'll take it, man. A win is a win is a win, as we like to say over here, man. And the Giants are stacking them up, man. To only have 1 loss after 7 weeks in the season is beautiful, man. It's beautiful. I'm loving this squad right now. Shout out to you, Alpha Mason, one time. Fabian is in the building one time. He said, Awthentik heard about Bellinger. From what I'm hearing, he's got to get surgery on the eye. He does have vision in the eye, which is most important. So, you know, we're hoping Bellinger can get right back and get back to scoring touchdowns and get back on that field, man. We definitely need Bellinger out there. But the backup tight ends, man, they did a good job filling in, man. And I tweeted it out right when Bellinger went out. I was, you know, praying for his health and whatnot. But I knew we had the guys on the roster, man. It's been next man up all year long, and that's what we've been doing, man. And, you know, we're seeing a lot of guys who are coming up, being elevated from the practice squad, players who are not typically used to getting a lot of playing time, getting on the field and making plays, man. The New York Giants, man, they're a team that is literally built upon that statement, next man up. We've been doing it all year. We're the 3rd, as far as injuries go, we have the 3rd most injuries in the entire league. I saw the Ravens were up there as well, too, man. So shout out to the Giants, man, for getting it done by any means necessary. And shout out to Fabian one time for pulling up. Brian Howard in the building. What's going on, fam? He said, what up, Awthentik? We up, my guy. Yes, sir. We are definitely up, man. Big Los in the building, too. He says, now DJ is a top 10 QB. He's looking like it right now, man. He's playing like it. The stats may not say it, and we all talked about that last week on the Giant Overreaction, but, man, Daniel Jones is playing great football, man. He's getting it done. They're putting the ball in his hands in the fourth quarter. He's taking care of the football, most importantly. A lot of people like to overlook that aspect of football, like not throwing interceptions doesn't mean you're winning the game. Like, that is literally the goal here, is to not turn the ball over and try to put your team in the best position to win. Daniel Jones is leading this team. I love the fiery type of guy we saw on Sunday too, man. He was getting heated after that drop from Marcus Johnson on the goal line. That's what I want to see. You're starting to see a quarterback now that's getting used to winning. He's not going out there with that loser mentality like, whatever, you dropped the ball, it's all good. Nah, man, we got a lot at stake here with the New York Giants, and Daniel Jones is holding everybody accountable, including himself. So shout out to him. Shout out to you, Big Los. Definitely balling out. Shout out to What You Say in the building one time. New face, man. Appreciate you pulling up. He said LFG. You know the vibes, man. You know the vibes over here. Corey Young is in the building, too. Man, we got a rack of y'all in the building. I see the homie Stan is in the building. Who else is in the building one time? J Tech. What's going on, J Tech? New face in the building. Welcome to the fam. What do you think it would cost to get Jerry Jeudy? I'm not too sure, man. Jerry Jeudy is a guy who has had some drops in his career. But I believe he's still on a rookie contract over there. So, I mean, I would welcome Jerry Jeudy with open arms, man. The Giants need help at the wide receiver position. But, you know, to me, this isn't the year to go out there and try to spend too much capital or too much money on a wide receiver. If the Giants and Brian Dable feel like they can get it done with what we got here, and hopefully we could get healthy here in a little bit and get guys like Kadarius Toney back in the mix and get guys like Kenny Golladay back in the mix while he's here. I know a lot of people are writing Kenny Golladay off and whatnot. But I think when healthy, he's one of our better wide receivers. That's the bottom line. It's good to see guys coming up like David Sills making a play or two here and there, and guys like Richie James and even Marcus Johnson. I know we had some big drops in this game, man, but you got to expect some woes with some of these guys on the come up. You know, they're not used to being out there, and they're not the highest, you know, caliber type of players at their position. So my thing is, like, I can expect some bad play from these guys, but go out there and make the plays when you got to make the plays, and that's what they're doing. But shout out to J-Tech one time in the building. I see the homie Kalen Dragon is in the building. Bubs is in the building. Who else we got in the building? I'm trying to run through this and get to y'all. Word is in the building. Thrill Collins is in the building. Shout out to Thrill, man. What's going on, fam? This is a new face in the building, too. Namret 12 is in the building. Maybe you're underreacting. Maybe. You know, I like your little cat you got there. I got a tuxedo cat. Look just like that upstairs, actually. His name is Smoke. I be calling him Smoke Dog. Shout out to my homie Smoke Dog one time. But maybe I'm underreacting. You know, if you've been following the channel, for the people that know me, I try to just call it like I see it at all times, and I try to keep an even keel. You know, I noticed in our first season here on Authentic in the Beard, I used to overreact a lot because I was just like pulling out of my fan bag a lot, right? Because I'm a diehard New York Giants fan. By any means necessary, I just want to see this team win. So when we're up like this, I kind of try to keep it chill. I was even talking to Tainer in his chat yesterday. I said, Tainer, he didn't even understand what I was saying. I said, yo, do we got to go out and get playoff tickets now? And he was like, I don't know, man. We might not have a home game and all this. I'm like, bro, it's looking like the Giants is heading to the playoffs. That's what it's looking like. So I'm super hyped that the New York Giants are 6-1 right now, this early on in the year, man. But you know, trying to just keep it calm and have logistic expectations. I know we got some tough games. We're fortunate to be where we're at right now. I will say that. This roster does not say 6-1, but this coaching staff definitely does. So shout out to you, Namret, for pulling up in the building, man, on this early afternoon. We're going to get into some of these overreactions here in a second, y'all. And for those of y'all that are new here, what we do here on Giant Overreaction is we present statements from either the media, from online, from Twitter, and we put the statement on the screen as is, and we figure out if it is indeed an overreaction, or if we agree with this statement on the screen, we're going to take the under. So if you want to take the under, you're going to put a U in the chat. If you want to say that the statement on the screen is indeed an overreaction, you're going to put an O in the chat. And if you need a little bit more time, you can take a push and you can put a P in the chat. I notice people can't find that hand emoji, so we're going to stick with the P in the chat, and that'll represent the push. But shout out to everybody, man. We're over 120 early here in the afternoon. Victory week for the New York Giants. We take care of the Jacksonville Jaguars 23-17 at what looked like a home game for the New York Giants, but actually was on the road in Jacksonville. I'm just scrolling through trying to catch up to the chat, man. Y'all got it popping, man. I hope y'all are having some great conversations amongst yourselves today. I'm going to go over some of the statistics here, some of the standout players, which a lot of us already know who a lot of these standout players were. We got to talk about the quarterback. We talk about the quarterback on every episode of Giant Overreaction. I'm a former quarterback from back in the day. I played quarterback in my JV days and whatnot, and moved to wide receiver when I got to varsity and whatnot. So I love talking about the quarterback and the passing attack and things like that. So stick tight. We're going to get into all of that. I just want to kind of recap some of the statistics and whatnot, and then we'll get into these overreactions. Just scrolling, man. The chat is completely booming. I'm grateful to have all of y'all here to share some thoughts about the New York Giants on this Monday afternoon, man. This is great. Like, we've done now, this is the 4th season of Awthentik and the Beard, and the first 3 seasons, man, we did not breach 6 wins. So it was a lot of covering of awful football. And to see the Giants sitting at 6-1, man, I'm extremely humbled. I'm grateful. And, I'm surprised at the same time. I'll keep it real with y'all. I was not one of these people. I don't wake up on a Monday morning after a big Giants win and start counting up my receipts with fellow Giants fans. Like, I'm one of the guys that literally did not think the Giants were going to be a playoff team this year. I felt that, there were question marks at the quarterback position, which anybody with eyes knows that there was. Yeah, we know that Daniel Jones has had not the greatest shake, not a fair shake here when it comes to the cards being dealt on the offensive side of the ball. But this kid now, you put a good coach behind him, a competent coach, and he's looking like he is literally playing like a top 10 quarterback. We talked about that last year. So I think it would only be proper to start the show off and talk about the quarterback position. So let's go ahead and do this and talk about Daniel Jones. All right, y'all. Daniel Jones, man. This dude came out on fire. First drive, throws that touchdown to Darius Slayton, man. And I'm starting to feel like, is this the first game where Daniel Jones is about to light these fools up and we're going to walk out of here with a 300-yard game? We did walk out of here with a 300-yard game, but it was in a different fashion. Daniel Jones, 202 passing yards on 19 of 30. He had 1 touchdown, and the most important number for me this season is that interception number at 0 again. Daniel Jones now with multiple games back-to-back without interceptions. I'm loving it. The turnovers are extremely down. The last turnover I can remember was the one before the half where he fumbled. I believe that was last week. It didn't really count because, come on. He's trying to make a play there at the end of the half to try to just get up a Hail Mary. That fumble shouldn't even be on the stat box there one time. But Daniel Jones, man, the QBR, I saw somebody bring this up in the chat. Daniel Jones is 6th in the NFL in QBR right now. An outstanding game here, QBR of 87.1, and the 107 rushing yards from Daniel Jones. This kid definitely went off, put the team on his back. And I talked about that fiery vibe we saw from Daniel Jones. You saw a little bit of anger when Marcus Johnson dropped that slant route on the goal line. And I like that, man. That when you become accustomed to winning, losing extremely hurts you, bro. Especially from the quarterback position when you feel like you're doing everything in your power to put your players in position. You put the pass right on them. It was a tight window. I understand it was a tight window. You got to make those kind of plays. But like I said, we got to give these wide receivers a pass sometimes. When you're making a play, when you're making plays on the field, I'll take a drop or two here and there. Marcus Johnson has been doing a great job filling in. We don't expect much from this kid. He's kind of a no-name kind of journey guy who came over to the New York Giants, I believe, from the Tennessee Titans. And he's been making a couple plays here and there. So it's good to see him making plays. The drops, we want to get rid of those. But at the same time, I liked what I saw from Daniel Jones. That's showing you the leadership and not wanting to lose these games. Daniel Jones right now, 107 rushing yards. That was a career high. Daniel Jones is the first Giants quarterback to record 100 rushing yards in a game since Frank Filchak, which I don't know who the hell that is. He was born the same year my mother was born, in 1946. Jones has won 7 of his last 8 games. Daniel Jones has 5 game-winning drives this season. Listen, man, I want to say it was 3 game-winning drives Daniel Jones came into the year with. He's got 5 on the year already. No one else in the NFL has more than 3. We talked about the QBR being 6th in the NFL. His average QBR now is 62.6. That's behind Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Tua, Geno Smith, that's a surprise up there, Lamar Jackson, and number 6 is Daniel Jones. Also, Daniel Jones is number 2 in quarterback rushing yards with 343 rushing yards as a quarterback. That's only behind Lamar Jackson. So my assessment of this is Daniel Jones is finding ways to be sneaky with the run, man. Like the play action boots, Daniel Jones is probably the sneakiest quarterback when it comes to that play action, the way that he keeps the ball on his chest and kind of like fakes it with the other hand. He just does a great job of just keeping the ball disguised. Daniel Jones is starting to mature, man, and I tweeted this out yesterday. I said, are we really seeing the maturation of Daniel Jones? Because to me, that's what it looks like at the moment. I mean, it looks like he's extremely comfortable in this system, and by being comfortable, it's allowing him to play looser like what we saw in year one. If you remember year one under Pat Shurmur, right? Daniel Jones just like played very, very, very like, I'm trying to get the win. He played extremely loose, which caused a lot of fumbles. You know, I mean, he lost 11 fumbles his rookie season. 5 of them were scoop and scores. A 6th was almost a scoop and score. It was a tackle on the 1-yard line. So we got to take these things into account. Now that he has a system that he's starting to get a little bit of grip on now, 6-7 weeks into the season, you've now seen Daniel Jones put this team on his back 3 weeks in a row. The Packers game was literally won by Daniel Jones. The Ravens game he had a large portion of why we won that game. Him and Saquon Barkley, obviously, and his defense. And in this game, I dare I say he might have been the sole reason the Giants won the game. I mean, he was making plays left and right. We had a little bit of a blooper again in this game where Daniel Jones made a cut. And as soon as he was setting up the cut, I was like, is Daniel about to take this one to the house? He did a little slide step cut, got the defender up off him. He stumbled a little bit, fell to the ground, and you saw him. He's kind of like pounding the ground like, man, he knew he missed one out there, man. But big shout out to Daniel Jones, man. The dude played an incredible game. This is what I want to see from my quarterback. 1 touchdown is fine with me. 0 interceptions is beautiful. We just don't want to see Daniel Jones turning the ball over. I heard somebody say this on one of the national shows today, that if Daniel Jones just doesn't turn the ball over, the Giants got a chance to win a game. That's really what it's looking like right now. And he's doing a fantastic job of that this year, man. So got to send props where props is due. Daniel Jones is looking like a guy right now. And I think now it's like everyone in the New York market needs to know that, right? But outside of the New York market, it looks like people are starting to kind of take heed to what the New York Giants are doing here. I mean, this team is a major surprise. This is a major surprise. And now I think what people are starting to, not necessarily a second guess, but what people are starting to kind of understand now is, are the Giants going to really make a run? Like, is that what it is? Are the Giants not only a playoff team, but are they going to make a real run and try to get deep into the playoffs? If Daniel Jones wins a playoff game, it's a wrap. He's going to be back next season. I already think he's done damn near just enough to warrant at least a small contract to be back for a year or two, at least 2 years in my eyes. We'll see. I think he's playing great ball. Keep it up, Daniel Jones. This is what Giants fans have been wanting to see. The fans, their entertainer did a good job of breaking this down yesterday. He talked about, like, you have people that are like extremes on one side or the other of Daniel Jones. You got those major haters. You got those major homers, right? And then you got people who live in the middle. And a lot of people who lived in the middle, they assessed it the way that they saw it. The way that they saw it was Daniel Jones was not playing good football. I kind of try to avoid being lumped into that whole hater kind of concept, that people like to say, because for me, I've never bashed Daniel Jones a day in my life. If you've been tuning into this channel for the past 3-4 years, I've gone on some highs and lows with Daniel Jones for sure. Never bashed him once. Never called him trash. Never called him garbage. I've always thought Daniel Jones is a very capable quarterback that has a really good skill set. A lot of it for Daniel Jones is between the ears, and I think that's what Brian Daboll is making a lot easier for Daniel Jones. He's bringing these reads so that, Daniel Jones can see it from one side of the field. He's making it easy for him. And Daniel Jones's mind is now reacting quicker. If you look at some of the RPOs that Daniel Jones ran in this game on Sunday, the decision-making was so quick. I saw one play where Trayvon Walker was like halfway up the field trying to tackle Saquon Barkley, and Daniel Jones is on the other side of the field running the ball. And Daniel Jones is just, he's getting better, and that's what you expect from a fourth-year quarterback. He's getting better, and that's what we want to see. The years underneath Joe Judge and Jason Garrett, it seemed like 2 years in lull where Daniel Jones really wasn't getting better. And now I'm starting to see that we have to credit that a lot to the system. And I said that this year too. I said, Brian Daboll is going to expose one of two things: that Jason Garrett and Joe Judge were really awful coaches, or that Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback. Daniel Jones is definitely a good quarterback. That's 1,000%. Now we're starting to see him kind of, on the incline. Is he better than good? Is the real question. I think that's what a lot of Giants fans are starting to ask themselves now. Like, okay, we know that if he continues to play like this, he can be a franchise guy. But can he be one of these guys that we put up in there with the Herberts, with the Burrows, at least, which I like to call those guys the tier 2 of quarterbacks. I put Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes maybe a little bit higher, Josh Allen maybe a little bit higher. But the Burrows, the Herberts, these young quarterbacks that are still trying to find ways to win, Daniel Jones is definitely making a case to be mentioned with some of these guys here. So let me get to a couple of these super chats one time. And, I actually got to get something uploaded here as well, too. I forgot to upload this for the next segment here. Scroll down here. Bear with me. Give me a second, y'all. And this one's going to be here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and let's talk about the next guy, man. We'll get off this box score a little bit here. And let's talk about another backbone for this New York Giants football team, man. It's been the backbone of this team all year long, man. All right, let's talk about Saquon Barkley, man. 24 rushes, 110 yards, 4.6 yards per carry, 4 receptions, 25 receiving yards. Now, if you looked at the first half of this game, it looked like Saquon Barkley was going nowhere. And I screenshotted a picture of the first half, which I can, because I want to make sure that these numbers are exact, because I want to say right around the half, Saquon was sitting at around. Yeah, so at the end of the first quarter, Saquon Barkley had 1 carry for -1 yards. Now, I'm starting to notice that Brian Dable is saving Saquon's gas for the second half. Every game, he's starting them off slow, and he's ramping them up so that we have a strong Saquon Barkley for the second half. And I'm liking this game plan. Typically, y'all know over here at Awthentik and the Beard, me and the Beard are always talking about #RTDB, run the damn ball. And early on in this game, I was thinking that. I'm like, man, we got to get this running game clicking, man. I think it'll make things easier for Daniel Jones. Brian Dable is a mastermind, though. He literally makes it where these teams have to key in on Saquon Barkley, but he's keeping a lot of energy in the tank for the second half. Saquon Barkley went off in that second half, man. He had the 1 carry for -1 yards, and then since then, his next 17 carries were for 80 yards for a 4.7 yard average yards per carry. Saquon has been literally the backbone, the consistent backbone of this team for the whole entire year. Right now, Saquon Barkley has 906 yards from scrimmage this season. So when we're talking about this guy being a 2,000 all-purpose type of running back, I mean, he looks like he's going to breach that by a good chunk right now. He's already 100 yards more than any other player in the NFL as far as scrimmage yards go. Nick Chubb is in second place with 807 yards. The Giants are committed to the run. So when you look at the Daniel Jones numbers, even though in this game those Daniel Jones numbers did look pretty good, and we threw the ball a good chunk, 30 throws is a lot. But when you look at the numbers on the entire season, 6 total touchdowns through the air and whatnot, and you go, well, why are people hyping up Daniel Jones? It's because the New York Giants are running the ball. The Giants had 39 total rushes for 239 yards in this game. So Saquon and Daniel Jones, and I heard somebody say this, they might be the best running back duo in the NFL right now. I think that's an accurate statement, because Daniel Jones is doing fantastic things with his legs, and teams better get it out their mind. It was Harbaugh that said this against the Ravens. He said, Daniel Jones, you got to keep your eye on him, because he'll sneak out and get some running plays as well, too. Some designed, some not by design. You got to keep your eyes on him in the pocket. It seems like teams are still kind of overlooking that, or Saquon Barkley is such an attention seeker from defensive coordinators and defenses that it's just causing them to kind of forget about Daniel Jones. There were plenty of times in that game, man, where you just saw their defensive ends crash down on Saquon Barkley and made the run easy for Daniel Jones. And we saw a couple decent slides from Daniel Jones in this game, too. I like to see my quarterback protecting himself, because the one thing that has to remain sustainable for the New York Giants is Daniel Jones has to stay healthy. I know that it might not be a drastic drop-off if Tyrod Taylor comes in the game, but we've seen how easily Tyrod Taylor can get injured. So for me, Daniel Jones, he's got to stay healthy this entire season. That's going to be another thing that I think will impact the amount of money that he makes in the offseason when they go to sign him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's important that he stays healthy and that he stays on the field, most importantly. Let me scroll back here, get to a couple of super chats that I missed here. And then we'll continue on with this discussion as well. Shout out to the homie No Mets, No Nets, No Jets in the building. My day one, always rocking with us. One time he said, please hit the like, sub, and the bell notification. LFG MYG. Let's smoke more animal packs. Okay, so we smoked the Bears pack. We smoked the Ravens pack. I know you want some Eagles pack out there. We smoked that Jaguars pack already. Yeah, we definitely been smoking some pack for sure this whole entire season, man. So shout out to No Mets, No Nets, No Jets, man. That support definitely goes a long way to help out this channel. And also shout out to the homie John Kim one time in the building with the $10 super chat, man. He says if KG and KT can get healthy, speaking on Galladay and Kadarius Toney, and rejoin the team and help out the passing game, I'm all for it because doesn't look like Shane is going to trade for anyone and give up draft capital. Too many holes to fill. I totally agree. I see people running around, saying that we're not in a rebuild. We're still in a rebuild. They've done a fantastic job already, moving around some pieces and getting some players up out of here. Some that were from the Gettleman draft and whatnot. You got guys like Bradbury who came over, signed from the Carolina Panthers, Will Hernandez, guys they didn't resign, Evan Ingram, a lot of guys that were moved from previous regimes and whatnot. And there are still a bunch of holes to fill here. You can't look at this 6-1 that the Giants are at right now as the floor. You got to look at this somewhere in the middle, right? And understand that at the same time we're sitting at 6-1. Who knows? We could be like 3-3 or 4-2 at the same time. So drop back the expectations just a little bit for this team, right? We're winning now, and you got to capitalize on that and go for the gold. I'm all for that. You got to go for the gold right now while the iron's hot. You got to strike, right? But at the same time, there's a lot of things that need to be fixed on this team. There are a lot of things that still need to be fixed on this team. We're fortunate enough that the Giants are still winning, though. So I'm grateful for it, and I'm super happy, man. I mean, now I'm starting to not expect the loss. Like, late in that game, don't get me twisted, I was definitely worried. I was definitely, on edge, standing up, sitting down, trying to calm myself down, talking to myself, all kind of stuff, right? But at the same time, the Giants are starting to be a team that you can expect to show up in the fourth quarter, and that's what they're doing, man. Now another fourth quarter comeback again. Daniel Jones now 5 on the season. It's starting to become routine now, and I'm here for it. I'm all here for it. But shout out to John Kim for that $10 super chat, man. Appreciate your presence in the building, and also appreciate you, man, just rocking with us, man. And the $10 super chat definitely goes a long way to help out this channel for sure, man. We on the up and up right now, there's not a lot to be said about how much work goes into this channel. Y'all know what we do over here. So shout out to you, John Kim, one time. And let me scroll down here. I got a couple more. Shout out to Keith Wilson Jr. one time in the building. This is a new face in the building, man. Appreciate you for this $9.99 super chat. I wish we had a beard in here to read that one time. He says, my guy, what you think about the media narrative that's not giving Danny any credit? I'm not saying he's better than Herbert, but those guys get all the excuses when they lose. No line, no wide receivers. It's really like pick and choose, man. It's interesting, man. And this is why I always say that wins and losses do count towards the quarterback. People want it. Losers will say that wins and losses don't count for the quarterback. Find me a quarterback that has been successful in the NFL that lost a lot. Find me one. Just find me one. You're not going to find one. I promise you that. You got to win at the quarterback position. Is the most important position on the field. With that said, these guys like Herbert, yeah, their stat boxes look incredible at the end of games, right? And, they ended up taking that L to the Seattle Seahawks, Justin Herbert and the Chargers. But before that, their 4-2 record entering Week 7 was extremely surprising to me because, yeah, Herbert has been playing good football, but he has been battling with the rib injury. And, that team just kind of seemed very average and very middle of the pack. Now with that loss to Seattle, I think that's proof that they are. He's got all the weapons over there. They got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. Prayers go out to him, too. I know he got injured in that game. I hope he gets well fast. And at the running back position, Austin Eckler, he's a baller. They got ballers on the defensive side of the ball. That team looks like they should be making a run right now. And a lot of people picked them to be a Super Bowl pick early on in the season. Now, as far as Daniel Jones and the credit, right, I just think that, certain people like that stat box to be shiny. I'm one of them. I keep it real with you. This is a learning process for me of learning a quarterback who is not, I want to word this right too, a quarterback who's not necessarily the most athletically gifted, let's say, because he can run, right? But he doesn't run around like a Lamar or run around like a Hurts or, quarterbacks from the past. Daniel Jones is, I know we like to call him Vanilla Vic, but he's not Mike Vick, right? So I'm getting used to seeing these stat boxes like this from a guy who's like, it's not flashy. He's not out here shaking, baking, juking people, getting to the second level, making people miss and doing stuff like that. It's more like his coach is scheming him up and putting him in the right positions, and he's capitalizing off that. I always talked about Daniel Jones last year when he had these windows of opportunities to really put the nail in the coffin on a team, that he just wouldn't do it. It would always take him multiple opportunities, and most of the time he'd fall short on that, right? With this regime, they're putting the ball in his hands late in games, and he's making all the plays, man. He looks like a leader now. The previous 3 years, he did not look like a leader. He looked like a kid who was out there kind of lost, and now it just seems that Brian Daboll is instilling this confidence in Daniel Jones. I don't know if y'all saw the clip where Daniel Jones came over to the sidelines. I want to say this was right after I think it was after the drop to Marcus Johnson. But there's like some other positional coach talking to him on the sidelines, and you could tell the positional coach or whoever it was trying to calm Daniel Jones down. He put both his hands on the top of his shoulders right here, right? And he's like trying to calm him down like this. And you see Brian Daboll come up and pretty much say like, yo, I got this. Pushes that guy to the side and says something to Daniel Jones. But those are the things that, sometimes you need the message from the right person. And I think that Daniel Jones is getting it from the right person. Brian Daboll is attached to the hip now with Daniel Jones. You saw Joe Shane came into this situation early on, and he seemed to be the leader, and Brian Daboll seemed to be his sidekick, right? Joe Shane walks him into the room, the first press conference. I don't know if y'all remember. Joe Shane's right there with him. He's doing most of the talking. He gave the keys to Brian Daboll now. And Brian Daboll is handling this like a true professional through and through. I'm all here for it, man. Some people are going to be late to the party to give people credit, and that's okay. With me, I try to just assess it the way I see it. When Daniel Jones plays good, I'm going to give him his ultimate props. When he plays bad, I'm going to talk about how he played bad. So far, Daniel Jones has not played a bad game all season long. People in the national media, these narratives, they need to start to change. And we're going to get to that in the overreactions here in a second. I'm at the 45-minute mark. I'm going to try to get right to the overreactions. I got a couple that's going to talk about national media and what they've been saying about Daniel Jones, and we'll go over that as well, too. Keith, I definitely appreciate you pulling up, man. And welcome to the fam. This is my first time really seeing your name on the screen. I know that the chat in here be going so crazy. I can't even see everybody at all times. But welcome to the fam, man. I definitely appreciate that $9.99 super chat, man. That goes an extremely long way. And shout out to Bark Nasty one time in the building, man. Hope all is well on this Monday afternoon, brother, man, with this big New York Giants win, man. We're going to be smoking this Jaguars pack all week, man, all week. I'm not coming down from this high. The New York Giants have definitely surprised. They've been balling out, man, and a lot of it has to do with Saquon Barkley. A lot of it's got to do with Daniel Jones. I want to just go over some of these numbers from the box, and then we'll get right to the overreactions here in a second. I just want to scroll, catch up with the chat. Shout out to Lou Mateo one time in the building, man. Appreciate that $5 super chat one time. He says, I went through growing pains with Eli Manning. Got us 2 rings. I was prepared to go through it with DJ. Haters want instant gratification. Don't work like that. Shout out to the homie Lou Mateo one time in the building. I'm digging the profile pic too. What is it? Chad Powers, I believe that is. Shout out to you, man. That $5 super chat definitely goes a long way on the channel, man. And you're right, man. You're right. I wanted people to kind of dismiss the word haters when it comes to players like DJ haters and whatnot. But what I'm starting to realize is like, yeah, there are haters, bro. There are people that there's nothing that Daniel Jones is going to do that's going to make them say this kid is playing good football. There are some people that are like that. It is what it is, I try my best to just ignore people that, are trying to spread those narratives still, because we're now 7 weeks into the season, man, and Daniel Jones has been playing great football. Like, what else is there to say? Like, you can say, hey, I think Saquon's a bigger factor, or I think the defense is a bigger factor, but it's hard to discredit Daniel Jones. To wake up on October 24th, Monday morning, and the first thing you thought about was to discredit Daniel Jones, I don't know, man. You might be off your rocker a little bit, and people got to pump the brakes on the hate, man, and get this kid a little time with this, man, because my thing is like, yeah, if this is the floor for Daniel Jones right now, and let's say by the end of the year, you got a guy putting up stat boxes like how he put up in this game, like these numbers, like Daniel Jones is going to be a guy. He's going to be a guy. He's going to be on the cusp of entering that top 8 category. I thought that Dak Prescott was kind of on that cusp a little bit before the maturation of Josh Allen, right? So the year before Stephon Diggs came over to Buffalo, I thought Dak Prescott was like on his way, man. He was putting up some big games when he had Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb over there. I thought he was, right on his way to entering that top 6, 7. I mean, there's probably some receipts out there where I was saying Josh Allen and Dak Prescott kind of right here. And you see, Josh Allen took a major leap now. People will not even put Dak Prescott in the same conversation with Josh Allen right now, and that's rightfully so, man. Like, that's what it is. And are we looking at a guy in Daniel Jones who could ascend, who could incline and even get better? He's only been in the system now for 7 weeks. I don't expect him to get worse, man. So shout out to you, Lou Mateo. Definitely agree with you on a lot of those points you brought up there, man. And I see my homie the Beard one time shouting y'all out in the chat. Yeah, man, it's booming in here today, Beard. It's booming. The Giants are up right now, sitting at 6-1. I know everybody is super ecstatic, man. I wish the Beard was here to sing this super sticker. Y'all know the Beard will give you some Rick James vibes when people send in the super sticker. But shout out to the good citizen one time for sending some support to the channel with the $9.99 super sticker. We definitely appreciate that, fam. And let me just scroll, get this thing caught up, man. StreamYard on his BS right now, freezing up on me. All right. Texas Boy says the Seahawks are going to smoke that Giants pack. We'll see, man. We're going to get there. Make sure y'all pull up Thursday. We'll be doing a preview show, 7 p.m., going over all the NFC East games. I know Texas Boy can't wait for the Giants to take a loss. Right now, we sitting at 6-1, got the same amount of wins as the Philadelphia Eagles. Last week's overreactions, we talked about, are the Giants a true contender to try to win this division? It's really looking like it. Now, I looked at the Philadelphia Eagles schedule, man, last week, and it does look extremely easy. They got a bunch of cupcake games, as I will call them over here. But, we got to hope for them to kind of just fall flat in one of these games and take an L, and maybe the Giants can find a way to get to the top of this division. I'm not ruling it out for sure. Let me see. I see Afghans in the building. I ain't get to shout the homie out, so let me bring some attention to him real quick one time. You can only game manage so much while playing with this offense we've provided before it gets to the point where it's no longer game managing. It's okay for folks to admit he's doing more than that. Yeah, I mean, what game manager runs this much? That's my thing. Like, Daniel Jones is out here wheeling and dealing. He's throwing the ball way more confident with a ton more zip. The arm strength appears to be better this year. There was one there where he hit on a second down where he hit Breida in the hands on a little stop route screen kind of play. Man, that thing was coming in hot. Hit Breida right in the hands, and it popped up in the air. Thank God it didn't get intercepted. And Daniel Jones looked at Breida and gave him, he patted himself on the chest like, my bad, man. I just gave you that Nolan Ryan heat right there one time. Daniel Jones is throwing the ball with velocity. He's doing things, man, putting his team on his back. Normally, when I think of a game manager, I think of a quarterback who has pretty decent talent at the wide receiver position, and the quarterback is one of the deficiencies, not the other way around. How are you game managing with players on the field that are literally practice squad wide receivers, and you're out there making plays with them? So I totally agree with Afghan on this one, man. Salute to Afghan for being in the building, too, man. I appreciate you. That's a day one right there, man, over there from Entertainers Channel, showing a lot of love. All right. So just want to go over this box real quick, and then we'll get into these overreactions one time, because I definitely want to talk about the man Wan'Dale Robinson. Wan'Dale Robinson, man, I told y'all on the parlay last Sunday, scoop up Wan'Dale Robinson right now. He might not have a big game, but the following week, you'll see the volume is going to increase. Now, he had a little bit of an injury scare again. I think he just got hit in the private section. That's what it looked like, at least by the reaction. He did come back in the second half, and he did not get a reception in the second half. But he had 8 targets in this game. I believe he had 5 targets last week, so you increased the amount of targets. He had 6 receptions for 50 yards, so shout out to everybody who scooped up Wan'Dale Robinson in their PPR leagues, man. He definitely went off. I think he got me like about 14 points. I had him in the starting lineup this week. You had Darius Slayton with the 3 catches for 58 yards. I know for a lot of people it's great to see him getting back to his true form. You know, a lot of people wrote off Darius Slayton, calling him a bum, calling him trash, garbage, he can't catch, all of this. To me, you got to look at the productivity that a player does throughout their career. And if they have 1 year where they're having, a down year, same thing goes for a high year. I always say this too, like if you see Darius Slayton with 8 touchdowns in his rookie season and he has not gotten back to that in his career, you shouldn't look at it like he's an 8 touchdown guy. But he's had 3 touchdowns the other 2 seasons. Darius Slayton's drop issues kind of just came about last season for the most part. So I don't look at him as a guy who's, a liability on this offense. I look at Darius Slayton as a guy who can make plays. You just got to find ways to get the one-on-one matchup with him. And on the first drive, that's exactly what they did. He gets the long touchdown there, the 32-yard touchdown, and the Giants are in business. And I talked about that too, man, that the Giants needed a good start. Now, defensively, this wasn't a great start in this game, but offensively, they got the 7 points on the board on the first drive. That's exactly what you want. If the defense could have came out and made a stop, man, we're looking at trying to push the score to 14-0. There were moments in this game where I really thought the Giants could have handled the Jacksonville Jaguars. And for those of y'all that follow me on Twitter, I posted a tweet. There was this young TikToker kid who took one of my tweets, pretty much tried to clown me in the tweet. He was, I was questioning why the Jaguars were favored by 2.5. Against the New York Giants, who were sitting at 5-1 entering that game, and the Jaguars were 2-4. To me, it just didn't make any sense. I don't care about home field advantage or any of that. And I retweeted that one, and I told him, I had a little smart comment for him one time, because I think a lot of people are still doubting the New York Giants, and they're used to the New York Giants of old. They're not used to the New York Giants of new. Right now, this team, we're sitting on 6 wins. We've been impressive all year long. And even dating back to last year, we were in a ton of games, man. We lost a lot of games late. And this year, the difference is Brian Dable, Mike Kafka, Wink Martindale. They're finding ways to get the Giants in positions to win games rather than lose games. And in this one, the players did a damn good job trying to lose the game, to be for real. I mean, they did a really good job trying to lose this game. Saquon Barkley, especially at the end of this game, 2 big runs there where he's near the sidelines. You got to find a way. He took all responsibility in the press conference. He said, something was going through his mind there, and he wasn't thinking like himself. He's got to keep that chip on his shoulder throughout the entire year. The work is not done for Saquon Barkley. You got to keep that chip on your shoulder. That whole vibe of, stay on that side. Keep that vibe. Keep that. You need that mentally to be able to go out there and prove not only people wrong, but most importantly, prove yourself wrong. And Saquon has been doing that this year, man. Number 1 in the NFL right now with scrimmage yards. He's doing his thing. He's balling out. And I always talk about those gritty games. This one, even though the stat box looks really good at the end for Saquon Barkley there, it was still a gritty, churn-it-out style type of game. He got most of the yards in the second half. And the Giants have committed to the run. While down, while behind on the scoreboard, the Giants are still committing to the run. I'm all here for it. I love it. Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley are a tandem that the Giants probably are going to have to keep around for a while here, man. They seem to be the spark for this New York Giants offense, and you can almost damn near put any other players around it, in the skills department, at the wide receiver position, tight end, as long as this offensive line can hold up, Daniel Jones is going to find a way to deliver that rock. And as long as they can keep run blocking good and get Saquon Barkley to that second level, man, that's what's most important about Saquon. He got to the second level on a few runs in this game. The one where he went off to the right, he was off the right guard, made an incredible shake in traffic, reverses field, man, and then cuts it back and just picks up like another 10, 15-yard chunk. So I love what I'm seeing out of our playmakers. These guys are the face of the franchise right now, and I think it needs to remain that way, at least speaking on it today. So, yeah, let's get to these overreactions. Again, for those of y'all that don't know, when we bring up these statements or these audio clips on the screen, if you think that the statement is an overreaction, I'm going to need an O in the chat. If you agree with the statement on the screen and you want to take the under, I need a U in the chat. And if you need more time to think about it, I'm going to need you to put a P in the chat, which represents the push. You can push it to about next week, the week after that possibly. And we'll revisit some of these questions the following week. That's what we've been doing so far on the Giant Overreaction. Shout out to all of y'all. I mean, we got double, like this right now, we have about double the amount of people of the max record we've ever had on this channel. So to me, that just says one thing. I'm not taking credit for none of that. That says that the New York Giants winning has the New York Giants fan base extremely happy. I'm just here for it. I'm glad that y'all came here to rock with me on this Monday afternoon. Hear some of my thoughts. Chop it up in the chat. Welcome to the fam. If you're a new face here in the building, make sure to hit that subscribe button, man. We got a mission that we are on this year to try to hit a certain subscribe number. All we do is go live for the most part. We got a couple pre-recorded content, videos sprinkled in between. But welcome to the fam, yo. That's what I'll say. Everybody who pulls up here are fan of the Giants, but family of the channel. So salute to y'all. I see Big Pat is in the building too. I know Big Pat is super hype right now. Big Pat is one of the people that's been on the Daniel Jones bandwagon since day one. I was on the bandwagon since day one too, but my faith was wavered. They was dragging me along on the bandwagon for a little while there, you know what I'm saying, on some Beavis and Butthead vibes. But shout out to Big Pat. Make sure y'all go sub to Big Pat too, man. He's got great content over there. Breaks down tape weekly over there. So if you're interested in seeing like 22-man footage and some assessment of the plays and whatnot, a little bit more of a deeper dive into what the New York Giants do, check out Big Pat Sports Talk. He's got a great channel over there. And Big Pat, tell G, salute the G. This is the year. I'm on train, 11-6. I'm on board. 11-6. You've been screaming it for 4 seasons. It didn't seem like it the last couple years. This year, I'm on board for 11-6. Maybe a good 12-5. Who knows? The Giants are looking extremely good right now. Super happy to be here with y'all on this Monday afternoon, man, when the Giants take on or defeated the Jacksonville Jaguars 23-17, man. So big salute to them, man. Shout out to the graphics department. For everybody that's new here one time, if y'all don't know, we are the graphics department. Me and my buddy The Beard, we do shows 4 days a week. Monday, we do the Giant Overreaction. Tuesdays, we do a preview show for the following week. Thursdays, we do, I'll take that back. Tuesdays, we do a recap show for the previous week. Thursdays, we do a preview show for the next week. So definitely check us out. We also do the parlay on Sunday morning at 11 a.m. where we talk fantasy, very laid-back vibes. Just pick the games, chop it up, chill stuff. Go over some fantasy talk with the family, try to get the most amount of fantasy wins we can in our community, man, because I know I need it. I took a big L this past week. But shout out to the Giants, man. Brian Dable got the Giants on the up and up right now, doing big things. Let's start with this first. We'll call it an overreaction. We'll call them all overreactions until further notice. But let's start with this first one. I brought up a couple with Dan Orlovsky last week where Dan Orlovsky was talking about the Giants have solidified their coach. They know that Saquon Barkley is a part of the future, but he said that Daniel Jones is not a part of the future. And I think that this take that he said this morning on the Get Up has a lot to do with his previous takes. It'd be hard for a lot of people to get off of their takes. I'm quick to get off takes. If I say, let me think one of my crazy takes. Oh, Daniel Jones is going to be better than Josh Allen. As soon as Josh Allen starts to ball out for 2 years, I'm off that train, okay, until Daniel Jones proves to me that he can be a better quarterback than Josh Allen. But I do think Daniel Jones is starting to get back in that conversation. So I might be right. We'll see. We got a long, long career for both of these quarterbacks where we can judge them. So we'll see. But I just think Dan Orlovsky is struggling to get off of some of his takes now. I think he's a very smart guy. He puts out really good content. But check this one out from this morning on the Get Up.
You have remained steadfast that he could get it done. What are you seeing now?
That he actually has a real NFL coach. And
Yeah,
so now he has a chance to be that player that I think can ascend. And I think we're starting to see it. Look, this guy's playing great in big moments of games. Fourth quarter of games, when it comes down to wins and losses, they put it in his hands. So there's 2 reasons, actually 3 reasons why the Giants are 6-1.
Go.
They have an NFL coach, number 1, Brian Daboll, Coach of the Year, right?
Yep.
2 other reasons, Saquon Barkley, obviously. Oh, and Daniel Jones. Mm-hmm. That's right. Yes, Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. 2 guys that people were like, are they going to be here? Are they just going to get rid of them? Are they going to do... What are you crazy now?
Why are you poo-pooing Daniel Jones? By the way,
I'm not poo-pooing Daniel Jones, but to sit here and say they're 6-1 because of him is not accurate.
he won them that game yesterday.
They
He
are
won them that game yesterday.
because of the best 1-2 running back duo in sports, Daniel. You know this.
Thank you.
Listen, legs I get. Rex, I love you. But they're 6-1 because Brian Dable, Saquon, and their defense.
Now, that's Dan Orlovsky and Rex Ryan and Ryan Clark going at it. If you want to check that out, go ahead and just search that one on YouTube. It was one of the first videos that came up today. And I think it's a good thing when the New York Giants are being argued about on national media. They got extremely heated. Mike Greenberg was also involved in this debate a lot, too, and he just couldn't understand where Dan Orlovsky was coming from. I'm going to bring up Dan Orlovsky's quote here on the screen to see if you guys think indeed it is an overreaction or not. But shout out to my homie one time, man. PTA Sports, my homie Pest is in the building one time. Appreciate that $4.99 super chat. That definitely goes a long way, Pest, man. I definitely appreciate you pulling up. Pest got to ride up with me to actually I got to ride up with him to New York for the Fan Fest 2 summers ago, man. So and held me down in his hotel. We had a blast, man. We partied. I got some we got to talk off air, Pest. we got to talk. And I got to get Pest back on one of these Giant overreactions. One of the best giant overreactions we had last year was when I had Pest on the show, man. That was a good one that had Twitter kind of buzzing, man. So shout out to you, man. Well, I'm going to text you when I get off air, Pest. We got a wrap for sure, man. But appreciate the $4.99 super chat. And let's get to this this overreaction from Dan Orlovsky here. He says pretty much the Giants are 6-1 because of Brian Dable, Saquon Barkley, and their defense. And I think it's doing Daniel Jones a disservice to leave him off of this list. Me, Tainer, a few others were having a conversation about this a few weeks ago. And, you always get that person who chimes in and goes, I don't care who's, the reasoning why we're winning. We're winning. All right, well, don't chime into this kind of conversation then. Because this conversation is about why we're winning, okay? Now, for me, in that conversation at the time, I had said it was the coaching. I had said it was Saquon Barkley. And I said it was the defense, and I said it was Daniel Jones after that. Now, to discredit Daniel Jones and say that he is not a reason why we were winning is crazy. But at the same time, a lot of people they like to hang their hat on this. They like to say, oh, well, if you remove Daniel Jones from this, the Giants are not 6-1. The question there is, when you remove him, who are you going to replace him with? Because if you're going to replace Daniel Jones with Jake Fromm or Mike Glennon, well, clearly, okay? But if you replace Daniel Jones with a competent quarterback, it's no telling what the record would be. But right now, to discredit Daniel Jones and say that he's not a reason why they're winning with performances like what he put up in this game, 19 of 30, 202, the one passing touchdown, the one rushing touchdown. Don't let me forget that. So he accounted for 2 touchdowns in this game. He was only sacked 1 time, QBR of 87.1. You mean to tell me that this guy's not a reason why they win in this game? When Saquon Barkley goes out of the lineup, I believe it was against the Packers, and the running game really was not clicking throughout the whole game, and you got Daniel Jones putting that team on his back, a 90-plus yard drive to put the Giants up in that game. You mean tell me that Daniel Jones is not a reason why we're winning games? To me, it's an asinine statement to still think that Daniel Jones is not a reason why the New York Giants are winning games. I wanted to start this show off easy, but y'all let me know what you think in the chat. Is this an overreaction, or are you taking the under on this one? I'm going to tell you right off the bat, this is an overreaction from Dan Orlovsky because he's trying to hang on his old take, I feel like. Daniel Jones is probably, in one way, the most polarizing quarterback that will have you on the biggest roller coaster of takes because he can have extreme lows and he can have extreme highs. This season, we have not seen those extreme lows, so we can't speak on him. He's been playing great football, 7 games of great football. That QBR says a lot about it. So I want to know what the chat is talking about here one time. Do y'all indeed think this is an overreaction? Tell me why you think what you think. If you think it's an overreaction or if you're taking the under, tell me why you think that. I'm going to check the chat out here one time and let y'all populate your answers, and we'll go over some of these. Me and the Beard talked about this, too. One of our family members asked us if we could do like a poll that would say how many overreactions we have and how many people are taking the under. I thought that was a fantastic idea. I can't remember who brought that to our attention, but that's a great idea. So we're definitely in the works of getting the polls together for some of these streams. We know YouTube offers it, but we do our thing through the back end of StreamYard. So we need that to pump out to all platforms, but we're definitely working on that. So let me know what y'all think about this one here. The Giants are 6-1 because of Brian Dable, Saquon Barkley, and their defense, which does, make sense that they are a reason for that. But leaving Daniel Jones off of this list, how y'all feel about that, chat? Let me scroll back up. Oh, and shout out to Word one time who came up with that idea about doing the polls and whatnot. We definitely in the works on that. Appreciate you bringing that to my attention, Beard. Let's scroll back one time. Shout out to Zayden one time in the building, man, with the 99-cent super chat one time. We appreciate that support for the channel. Appreciate you pulling up Zayden all day, Flournoy. I'm probably pronouncing that all wrong. But appreciate you pulling up, man. New face in the building. Welcome to the fam, brother. Let me see where these going at. Brian Howard said, boy, Orlovsky is a hater-ass backup quarterback. I made the mistake of talking about Dan Orlovsky one time about his play when he was giving a take on Daniel Jones. And I immediately regretted it because it was public on Twitter. And I said something about, you a backup, you never did nothing in the league. And I immediately regretted that. It was early on in my career on YouTube talking about the Giants. But, Dan Orlovsky, man, you got no room to speak today, man. I think Daniel Jones is balling out, man. You got to give him his props, man. You can't say he's not a reason why they're winning games. That's ridiculous. Shout out to Atriox one time in the building. Taking a big overreaction. Alvaro Orion, same spot with the overreaction one time. Metalhead Lawyer. We got a couple lawyers in the building one time. Metalhead Lawyers in the building. Salute to you, fam. Taking the overreaction. Shout out to the homie Floyd Samuels in the building. What's going on, G? Hope all is well. Taking the overreaction as well. Let me see this one from Tony. Tony says, Awthentik, you were hating on Daniel Jones before the season. Nah, bro. Stay on that side like Orlovsky. I don't want to call you soft, but I'm going to call you soft because you can't take the assessment that I'm making on Daniel Jones. The 3 previous years, bro, for a quarterback to have 12 touchdowns when the season is over, 3 previous seasons of being injured, can't stay on the field, I'm going to call it like I see it, my bro. If you want to call it hate, you got to take that somewhere else, fam. But, hey, you're welcome to stick around and hang around. My mods in the chat, they'll handle you. But don't be over here calling nobody no hater, bro. That's soft energy right there. I'm assessing Daniel Jones for what it is. Are you trying to tell me Daniel Jones played great football the first 3 seasons? Go ahead and tell me that then. But shout out to you for pulling up with a little bit of hate. I appreciate that, fam. Shout out to No Mets, No Nets, No Jets in the building. He's taking the overreaction one time. He expected better from Dan Orlovsky. Me too. I will say that. Like, Dan Orlovsky is normally very, very objective. Like, I thought that he would wake up today and be like, yo, Daniel Jones is proving me wrong. Like I would say today, okay? Like when I came into the year, although my stats were a little bit higher than what I projected, or my projected stats are a little bit higher than what Daniel Jones has put out this season, I had him around 29 touchdowns ending the year, but I do tend to be a little bit optimistic in the beginning of the season. But I thought Dan Orlovsky would just straight up just be like, yo, like Daniel Jones is playing great ball and he's proven everybody wrong. Proving people wrong is one thing, but to say that people is haters, that's a whole different thing. That's a whole different thing. But Hyphen Wade is taking the under on this one. Okay, that's the first under we got. Hyphen Wade pretty much agrees with the statement on the screen that the Giants are 6-1 because of Brian Dable, Saquon Barkley, and their defense, which I agree with too. I do agree with that. You know, I think this quote, we have to understand the context where Dan Orlovsky is saying it. He's saying that Daniel Jones is not a part of the reason why they're winning. But shout out to Hyphen Wade one time in the building. I definitely respect that opinion one time. A man of the culture says definitely an overreaction. And Brian Howard says the exact same thing. Optimus, overreaction. I feel you on that. Let me see this one time from the Beard. The Beard says, sounds like a couple QBs here in Washington. Shout out to the Beard one time. JJM in the building taking the big flames in the overreaction one time. Love this one from Duke. He says, overreaction, if you're still waiting to see what DJ can do, the DJ train to the future has left the station and you have missed it. Stay on your side. That stay on your side statement is so wild to me. But shout out to the homie Duke one time in the building. Edward Squires says this is an overreaction. Indeed, he has been a big part to us winning most of our games. Yeah. I'd say at least half of the games, Daniel Jones has been the main reason of why the Giants have won the game. Kareem Yee is saying it's an overreaction as well. And Big Pat in the building says it's an overreaction. Big O, Dumb Take did video on it, had to do a premiere for it, shaking my head or scratching my head. I'm still a little bit, I don't know if that SMH is scratching or shaking. I'm going to go with the shaking my head one time. Brian, I know this is a big overreaction. Brian has been pro Daniel Jones. Duke alumni, I believe Brian is. Loves Daniel Jones. Can do no wrong in Brian's eyes. Loves him some Daniel Jones. Says this is a big overreaction. I definitely agree with you on that one, too. Isaiah McKenzie in the building, man. I appreciate you letting people know to subscribe and whatnot. Definitely appreciate that. Salute to you, fam. And Adam Gorseca takes the overreaction. I saw the biggest thing I've wanted from DJ yesterday, which is the fire. I know that's right. Definitely brought the fire. He knows he's playing well and gave it to the wide receivers. Yeah, man, I talked about this a little bit earlier. Like, when you playing winning football like that, when people start to compromise your winning football, you gon' kirk out a little bit. I know all about that. Like, I'm the first one to do that. Like, I will kirk on you. If we are a winning team and you start to become a detriment to those W's, I'm going to let you know, and I'm going to hold you accountable. Most importantly, I'm going to hold myself accountable, and that's what Daniel Jones is doing. He's holding himself accountable. I'm loving it. Let me see what else we got. I want to get to all of y'all one time. Flem Dog, shout out to Flem Dog in the building, last week's winner. He says, oh, call him Danny Delusional. Yeah, that's facts. That's facts. That's definitely facts. We can call Dan Orlovsky Danny Delusional right now because he woke up, and you could tell he was a little bit out of pocket just throughout the whole segment. Like, he's doubling down on being wrong. That's the one thing that you just can't do. Like, for me, if I'm wrong on something, hey, if I didn't think Daniel Jones was going to have this many rushing plays this year. Oh, I'll give you another one. at the beginning of the year, I told people that the Giants ought to remove some of this RPO and some of this read option from the offense. And now I'm totally like, no, keep it. It's the reason why the Giants are being able to excel with the running game. Last week, I said the Giants need to take a page out of the Philadelphia Eagles book. The way that A.J. Brown has been getting open so much on these quick slants is literally off of the RPO. And you saw that a lot in this game. You saw early they got one to Slayton in this game. Early they got one to Richie James in this game. Right off that RPO, boom, you get that quick slant right, wide open on man-to-man coverage, just a one-on-one. Those linebackers come up a little bit when you fake the handoff. Bam, you got an easy throw for Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones is making those difficult reads and those quick reads. I've seen some people going around Twitter saying, well, what is Daniel Jones doing better? The mind is faster this year. He's reading things quicker. Brian Dable is making it so that the reads are more in one spot for him. It reminds me a lot of what Pat Shurmur did in a different way within the first system that Daniel Jones was in his rookie year. A lot of flood concepts was with Pat Shurmur. This year, you're seeing a lot more RPO, some mesh concepts, a lot of crossing routes this year. But he's making it easy for Daniel Jones to be able to see the field and make the decision fast. And if it's not there, Daniel Jones is tucking that ball and running it, man. So definitely, man. Shout out to Flem Dog one time, man. I hope your gifts got there too for you, bro, and you enjoying that. Let me see. Spaz Out is taking the under on this one. He's playing his role like he should. You know, you could say that about every quarterback across the league right now. And every year, you're going to have about half the league doing what they should and half the league doing what they not doing what they should. In this particular case, yeah, Daniel Jones is doing what he should. And I think that is winning football. That is how you get to those W's. Coach is drawing them up. Daniel Jones is executing the plays. That's all we can ask for. Let me see. ENA, we got time. Salute to you, fam. Appreciate you pulling up, man. Another day one in the building. It's an overreaction because think about the turnovers he used to have in seasons past. That alone is a huge improvement. 100%, man. 100%. Shout out to Paul Wall. He says this is an overreaction. His IQ is improved with Dable, and he's making the smart plays to win games. Big facts right there. Let me see. Thigh66 in the building. New name. Digging that profile picture one time. DJ has been huge with an emphasis on each letter to this team's success. Decisions in his legs have been fantastic. Facts. That's definitely facts right there. Shout out to Gray88 in the building. Another new face. Appreciate you rocking with us on this Monday afternoon. Says this is a big overreaction as well. I definitely agree with you. This is a major overreaction. Willie Bean 24 says such an overreaction. He accounted for over 300 yards of offense and 2 touchdowns yesterday. Of course he's a reason why they are winning. You don't get to number 6 in QBR by being incompetent. That's facts. And, you know, I feel like Dan Orlovsky could have picked a different day. Like, save that take for when Daniel Jones is not playing well and then wake up and say, yeah, I told you this is, you know, Daniel Jones is not the reason why the Giants are winning games. He played awful and they lost. You know, you could use it on a different day. But this was Daniel Jones' best game of the year for me. 300-plus yards, man, 2 touchdowns, 1 on the ground, 1 through the air, put the team on his back. The dude balling. The dude is definitely balling out. Shout out to Chance Chambers in the building one time. Says this is an overreaction. Kept them in the game in the first half. That's another great point. When the running was not clicking for the New York Giants in the first half, Daniel Jones kept us in it with his arm, man. And now we're starting to realize that, okay, early on in the year, it kind of looked like the Giants were going to have to rely on the running game. And now we're starting to see, hey, when the running game is not quite working in the middle of a game, Daniel Jones can use his arm to make things happen. And Brian Dable's putting him in position to make those throws. You know, it's not just a traditional just drop him back 35 times and just have him throwing the ball over the field so you can put him in positions where he's going to make mistakes. Daniel Jones is now being put in positions to make the right plays when we have to throw the ball. I can't thank this coaching staff enough. They're really bringing out the best in Daniel Jones. It's a beautiful thing to see. Shout out to Isaiah Wyatt in the building one time, man. What's going on? Giants Nation is in the building. Appreciate you pulling up on this Monday afternoon, my guy. And shout out to you, Stephen Arch. That's my guy. Be leaving some in-depth comments on our videos, man. I love going back and checking out his comments. He'll break down segments from the show and then break down what he thought about it. I love that, man. That engagement is amazing. Appreciate you pulling up on this Monday afternoon. Glad you could catch us live too, fam. Who else we got? I ain't gonna bring up Orlovsky's stats right there. Somebody's bringing up his stats. Just scrolling, man. I gotta ignore that now. I mean, come on, man. Well, I don't understand why people want smoke after the Giants get a win like this. It's like they wake up and they still angry. I don't get it. People still want smoke, man. Shout out to Tinder-hot.xyz in the building one time. Yo, hope the mods jumped on that one time. We got major people in the building right now. All right, let's take it to this next one. This one is a continuation of that overreaction a little bit. On the Get Up, they talked a little bit more about Daniel Jones in this segment, and I wanted to bring up this clip real quick, see what y'all thought about this one. This one's going to kind of segue us into the offseason, talking about Daniel Jones a little bit. And this one was Ryan Clark speaking on Daniel Jones in that exact same segment.
Goodness, they're 6-1 because Daniel Jones is lighting it up. He's got one more touchdown
I never
pass
said he's lighting it up. He's just finding ways to win.
No,
and I'll
their
take a guy that can win
defenses.
games.
If Daniel Jones hits the market, there are not going to be people knocking over the door to get it.
Of course not. He's got 6 touchdown passes.
Yeah, I mean, now, when you talk about haters, that's some hater vibes right there. Now, y'all let me know what y'all think about this one. If Daniel Jones hits the market, there are not going to be teams knocking over the door to get him. That's what Ryan Clark said. Now, I kind of like this assessment about what Ryan Clark is saying here because it gives you a little bit of room to see what Daniel Jones does for the rest of the season. So the push is definitely an option here, 1,000%. Let me know what y'all thinking in the chat one time, man. And I'm gonna let y'all thoughts populate here. I'll give you a final answer on this one once we get some of y'all's out the way one time. Let's see what we talking here. Oh, let me handle this. Hold on. Appreciate all of y'all rocking with us on this Monday afternoon, man. The Giants sitting at 6-1 after that major victory over the Jaguars, man. It's lit right now. We definitely smoking some Jaguars pack for another 6 days. Y'all know what it is, man. And while we get ready for them Seattle Seahawks one time, man, this is where I need the beard here as my co-producer right now, like a mug. It would definitely help me out one time. But let me see what y'all talking about with this one, man. If y'all think this is an overreaction one time, man. Let's see here. Let's see here. Boom. All right. We got AJ Bravo in the building one time. He thinks this is an overreaction as well. Duke in the building still thinks it's a big overreaction with about 5, 6, 7 of them things one time. Lou Mateo said from get up or get down. Shout out to James Brown. Get down. That's one of my favorite James Brown joints, man. Nas flipped that on one of his albums. Renee Ruiz in the building one time, man. Shout out to Renee in the building one time. I agree with RC on this one because public perception tends to match how teams act in free agency. And financially, it's in the Giants' interest for that to be true anyway. That's a good point, Renee. Definitely appreciate you pulling up, man, dropping your thoughts on this one. I tend to kind of agree with you. I might give myself a little bit of room here and take the push on this one. I'm going to see if y'all can kind of convince me, get me up off my horse one time before I come to a final decision. Sabrina says it's an overreaction. I think teams would show some interest. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Hyphen Wade says slight overreaction. I wouldn't say knocking down the door. That is the key point of that statement too. But I'm pretty sure there'll be some teams tracking what he does the rest of the year if we won't bring him back. That's a good point. That's very well said, Hyphen Wade. I appreciate you pulling up one time. Brian is taking the push. It depends on what happens the rest of the season. If he keeps this up, bro is getting paid. Yo, with a couple exclamation points one time. Shout out to Mr. Prav in the building one time. He says, this is a big overreaction. Grow some balls, Dan. You were wrong. Shout out to Mr. Prav one time in the building one time. Definitely appreciate you pulling up, man. A man of the culture says, I guarantee you the Broncos, the Panthers, the Commanders, maybe the Steelers are a few teams that will definitely come knocking with some money to pay him. That's a good point as well, too. Appreciate you rocking with us, a man of the culture. Zayden says, that bodes well for the Giants then. He don't give a damn if they aren't knocking at the door. Sign him now to an affordable deal and then take care of Barkley towards the end of the season and pay that man. I kind of like that plan too, man, because right now Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley, they like I said, they're the face of the franchise. If you remove those two guys from the equation, the New York Giants offense is literally going to be straight up garbage. Let's just keep it real. So I'm all on board for that. I don't know about signing a quarterback mid-year and if 7 games would be enough to really determine that, which is why I'm still leaning a little bit more towards the push. But Zayden, you make a convincing argument there for real. Kareem Yee taking the overaction. There's always a market for DJ's skill set, even if it may or may not be as a starter. That's true. I didn't think about it as, a backup. That is a good point, though, because some teams, who maybe want some depth at the backup position, a good quarterback who, if their main guy goes down, a lot of people not mentioning the Buccaneers, too. I hope the Giants sign this guy, man. The Giants would definitely be, it just wouldn't serve us well if the Giants were to cut Daniel Jones' legs out from underneath him like this, the way that we're winning. And then what are you going to do? Draft a rookie quarterback, try to bring in a rookie to come in here and take over, and, you think the wins are going to stay in the same position or increase? I don't think so. I think a rookie quarterback is going to go through his fair share of struggles. So for me, I want to keep Daniel Jones on the roster no matter what going into next season. Where is Six? Shout out to Where is Six one time in the building. What's up, fam? I see you, Do-Rag Gang, in the building. Where is Six says he's taking the under. With all due respect, he's still my bridge quarterback. Yes, that's a fair point, man. See, I can see both sides. Like, if you think he's a bridge quarterback at the moment that could maybe, with his play increase that, I'm all good with that. That's a fair take right there. Ain't nothing egregious about that. Who else we got in the building one time? Bubs is taking the push. Shout out to Bubs one time in the building. Edward Squires is taking the push as well. He says he's making a great case to coming back, but I still want to see what he does the rest of the year and then decided and what type of contract that can be worked out. Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards that. I haven't seen nobody really convince me otherwise. I think I'm taking a push as well. I want to see what Daniel Jones can do for the rest of the year because, like I said, man, right now the offense is just starting to click. You're starting to see Daniel Jones win some games on the strength of his arm. If this increases and then you get some guys back healthy, and then let's say by week 12, week 13, this team is striding going into the playoffs, dare I say we could make a Super Bowl run. Y'all know what it's like in New York. We saw it with Eli Manning twice, 2 improbable runs, beating teams that people would say that Eli Manning and the New York Giants had no business beating. If this team can ramp it up a little bit offensively going into the second half of this season, man, I'm going to be all on board for Daniel Jones, coming back next season. Give him the contract he deserves. We need a bigger sample size, as my homie the Beard would say. A larger, a smaller sample size or the larger portion? I forget what he says. He got some saying, but I want to see a little bit more from Daniel Jones. Shout out to 84 in the building one time, man. Appreciate you rocking with us, man, on this Monday. Cowboys fan too. Definitely appreciate that. How appropriate. DJ paid the cost to be the boss. I think he's done enough to make his stock rise. Overreaction. That's a great saying and a great way to say it, man. He's definitely paid his cost to be the boss, man. This dude has taken all the criticism from everybody across Giants Nation. A lot of people were ridiculing him at the quarterback position. Even outside of our market, people look at Daniel Jones as some kind of joke at the quarterback position. That's a great point you bring up there, 84. And that's coming from a Cowboys fan, y'all. So, yeah, that you got to take that with the opposite of a grain of salt, for real. Alexis, shout out to Alexis in the building. Alexis says this is no reaction. At least half of the league will be calling. QB running for over $1 easy, $30 million right now. I like that. Yeah, and you could look at Carson Wentz as a good example. I mean, Washington Commanders brought him in. The contract, even though it was an older contract, $28 million. So I think Daniel Jones deserves a better contract than that. I'd put him in the $30 million range right now if he continues to play the way he's been playing. Chance Chambers in the building. Shout out to Chance Chambers, new face. Chance says he's taking the under on this one. When was the last time there was a bidding war for a quarterback? He's Cousins is his comp. And Cousins was playing some really good football down here in Washington, man. And I think they franchise tagged Kirk Cousins twice before they let him go, and then the Minnesota Vikings ended up signing him to a big contract. And I know a lot of people like to say the Minnesota Vikings are regretting that contract right now. I think Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. The thing that Daniel Jones brings that Kirk Cousins doesn't is the ability to run. I think Daniel Jones is just as good of a thrower as Kirk Cousins is, to be honest. I mean, Kirk Cousins, in non-primetime games, lights up the stat box a good bit more passing the ball than Daniel Jones does. But as far as being capable, I think Daniel Jones can make all the throws that Kirk Cousins makes. I don't think nobody would disagree with that. And then he's got that extra ability as far as the running goes that Kirk Cousins just doesn't have. But I definitely respect that opinion, Chance, and appreciate you pulling up in the building one time. All right, so this one kind of split the room a little bit here. Shahid's in the building too. Shout out to Shahid. Shahid says it's a big overreaction. Even if Daniel doesn't come back this year, there are still multiple teams that will be looking for a quarterback and will call Daniel. He has all the intangibles to be a starting NFL quarterback. Yeah, we're seeing that. We're definitely seeing that this year, Shahid. I definitely agree with you on that. I wonder if teams would, even the Giants, I wonder if the Giants, and it's a little early to talk about this, but it's just a question on my mind. I wonder if the Giants are going to draft a quarterback even if they sign Daniel Jones. A lot of people want to bring in that rookie quarterback. They want to get him right on the field, right? A lot of people look at what the Green Bay Packers did by drafting, what's the kid's name? I forget his first name, but Love over there. And he hasn't played well when he's gotten in the game. And you got a guy like Aaron Rodgers out there. So it's like now you've wasted 2 to 3 years putting a rookie quarterback on the bench, $20 million if you draft him in the top whatever. It's interesting, so I wonder if other teams are looking at it like that as well too. Are they going to try to bring in a guy, like a Daniel Jones if he's available on the market? I honestly, I don't think Daniel Jones is going to be available on the market. I think Daniel Jones will be a New York Giant next year. But if he is available, would you bring in a guy like Daniel Jones and get a rookie quarterback in the building? It's no real telling. But I think that this, the reason why I brought this Ryan Clark statement up was because I thought it would split the room. I really did. I thought he makes some good points when he says knocking over the door, because I don't think people are going to be rushing to get to Daniel Jones to try to sign him if the Giants don't. But at the same time, there are some teams there that are going to be in the mix and are going to be in the conversation of trying to bring in a guy like Daniel Jones of his caliber, especially. I mean, he's balling out, man. Let me see. I'm just scrolling, trying to catch up to y'all one time. Let's see. Okay, so we're all caught up here. I think we can take it to the next overreaction. I always want these shows to be short, sweet, and tight. But with these W's, it just, man, the vibes be high. The vibes be on 1,000, man. And everybody want to talk about Giants football, man. So salute to all of y'all, man. We hit over 200 in the building earlier, man. And I'm still sitting over 160 right now. So I appreciate all of y'all rocking with us on this Monday afternoon on the Giant Overreaction, man. I'm ecstatic today, man. Just trying to tame my hypeness here and just take it all in stride, man. I cannot believe the Giants are sitting at 6-1, 7 weeks into the NFL season, man. This is beautiful, beautiful. 2022 has been treating me really well, and it's starting with the New York Giants, man. They've been doing a great job. So let's get to this next overreaction one time, man. I got 2 more for y'all, and then we're going to get up out of here. We'll get off the quarterback a little bit. We've been talking about the quarterback a lot today. One more, actually. So this one I saw from Twitter. Didn't want to call out the Twitter user one time. But he said, imagine if Dable was Daniel Jones' head coach from the jump. Jones would have been a franchise quarterback. Now, with the skill set and the capabilities that Daniel Jones brings to this offense, let's make this one quick. What y'all think about this one? Is this an overreaction? Could Daniel Jones have been playing like this with a coach like Brian Dable in the mix? Let me know what y'all thinking one time. I'll let y'all get y'all thoughts together, man, and then we'll chop it up over this one. Shout out to America Made 17 in the building one time right now. I see you talking about them Eagles. J. Jean, bright and early. First time taking the under. Probably the first time I ain't took the push one time. I like that you taking the under on this one, fam. Salute to J. Jean in the building. Bubs taking the under. Lesnar taking the under. Big Los taking the under one time. We got all unders. This one ain't going to split the room. This one for y'all right here. A man of the culture taking the under on this one. AJ Bravo taking the under one time. Zayden says, very possible he could be better in his development. 109% out there one time. I like that one time. Bub says Brian Dable is the quarterback whisperer, man. Shout out to Caesar Milan one time, man. You already know, big dogs in the building one time, man. Jay Ramos, 823, is taking the under. Daniel Jones was a well-polished passer his rookie year. Not many quarterbacks looked as good as him in his rookie year. Yeah, that's real. If Daniel Jones could have found a way to not turn the ball over his rookie season, I think, and stay healthy, I think he would have been the rookie of the year. I believe it was Kyler Murray who got the rookie of the year that season. Daniel Jones was right on his heels, man. 24 touchdowns in 12 games, I want to say it was, maybe 11 games. Daniel Jones definitely balled out. Just the turnovers was super ugly, man. I know a lot of people were scared of that because the turnovers, 20 fumbles, 19 fumbles, 11 of them lost. Shout out to Shayton in the building one time, taking the under. Maris said himself, they have been screwing Daniel ever since he got here. Screwing Daniel Jones over, we'll say. Pause on that one time. Shout out to Shayton in the building one time. Bookend tackles, taking the under. Yeah, man, I think this one is pretty obvious. Atriox in the building one time, taking that big U. Easily could be a franchise quarterback. You're seeing it now with less than a year. He looks night and day difference from last year. Yeah, Joe Judge really did no justice for Daniel Jones. He was putting Daniel Jones in terrible positions and really scared to let Daniel Jones just air it out and throw the ball. That's the one thing I like about Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll is not scared that when the running game is not clicking to allow Daniel Jones to just sling it. I'm loving that right now. So shout out to Atriox taking the under one time. I'm definitely in agreement with you. Tuto is in the building one time, man. The #1 supporter of the Giants community, man. We definitely appreciate you pulling up, my guy. Salute to Tuto, man. Flexing on him on a Monday. Tuto ain't smoking no pack with that body. Tuto is in the gym one time. Shout out to Tuto in the building, man. I appreciate you pulling up, my guy. Hope everything is well over there in Italy, man. Salute to you, my brother. Shout out to Duke. He's taking the push on this one. Nate Solder was on that team. Couldn't have been a franchise quarterback with Nate Solder. Is that what you trying to say, Duke? What is you trying to say, Duke? What is you trying to say, fam? Shout out to Duke one time in the building. JG said Joe Judge was an Eagles plant. Shout out to JG, man, in the building one time. Man, y'all know what it is. QB sneak on the 9. Don't ever forget it. Don't ever, ever, ever forget it. Shout out to Paul Wall being active in that chat one time. Shermer showed what he was capable of, but Daboll shaped him into what he is today. Jason Garrett and Joe Judge set him back for sure. Yeah, they definitely did. And I think Joe Judge and Jason Garrett stripped away some of the confidence that Daniel Jones had, you know, coming off that 2019 season. I think they placed the emphasis on not turning the ball over when they should have switched that up and placed the emphasis on developing Daniel Jones as a quarterback, to be honest. Shout out to Heathen one time in the building. Appreciate you pulling up. Do you think Joe Judge will ever be a head coach again? If I had to say today, I don't think so. But I wish Joe Judge the best. You know, I don't think he did a terrible, terrible job the first season. 6-10 with the New York Giants. Things did look like they were on the up and up. But I don't know. I mean, you know, he did some things with the kid Zappy over there. I think Joe Judge is the quarterback's coach now in New England, kind of helping out with the offensive game plans and whatnot. I don't know. I don't think he'll ever be a coach again, but that's today. I definitely don't wish that he's not a head coach again. I definitely wish him well. We'll see. Just reading a couple more here. Let's see here. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets says, dumb of Judge to think he could get that higher. Yeah, he got the Giants higher. I don't know how he got that one. And bookend tackles, I think this staff is letting him leave the pocket. They made him hang in the pocket, which made no sense with that O-line. Oh, my God, 100%. Brian Daboll and Mike Kafka, they found ways to scheme Daniel Jones into protection. And I think in return, like, Daniel Jones is learning how to manipulate the pocket a little bit more too. Like, there's a no fear type of mentality, man, that Daniel Jones has right now. So I'm all here for it. It's a beautiful thing. Shout out to Andrew, a new face in the building one time. Andrew Prophecy, possibly, maybe spelled a little funky. Shout out to Andrew one time, though, man. Welcome to the family. Sending love to Belly. Good news. Vision is good, needs surgery, but he'll be all right. Yeah, that's amazing, man, that because we're going to need Daniel Bellinger, man. He's been a red zone maniac this year. A lot of his receptions have been touchdowns. And, you know, you hate to clip someone's wings like that so early in the maturation of what they're doing. Like, Daniel Bellinger was, like, just on the up and up, man, and the play just seemed pretty routine. Somebody probably just got a finger in the helmet there. Hopefully he'll wear a visor for the rest of the year, maybe the rest of his career, man, because that dude, he plays physical football. We're going to need him down the stretch here. But shout out to Andrew, man. Welcome to the family, man. And if you dig in the vibes, man, hit that subscribe button and rock out with the Authentic and the Beer family. We appreciate you pulling up, fam. Shout out to the homie Tudo in the building one time with the $4.99 super chat. I don't get to read these that much, Tudo. I don't get to get my homie the Beard one time reading in his, his epic game day voice. Massive salute to the king of Giants community, Authentic. That's major praise. I appreciate that, Tudo. You're damn right about hitting the iron daily without any excuses. Yeah, I already know. Tudo, I wish I had that type of drive and regiment to hit the weight room, man. But I tend to take that ambition and put it into the studio, man. I've been working in the studio a lot, man. So y'all know what it is. Shout out to Tudo, man. I appreciate you pulling up and rocking out with us, brother. That means a lot. What else we got up in here, man? Oh, no problem, Andrew. Appreciate you pulling up, bro. Appreciate you pulling up. Heathen said he will need surgery for his eye. I can't imagine how painful that was. Yeah, man. Like, that's one thing I just wish on nobody, man. Like, the eye, man, that's my homie. I play a lot of Apex Legends in my spare time, and one of my homies was telling me the other day, he was like, man, I can't play. I'm like, why can't you run with us tonight? He was like, I got something in my eye. I can't get it out. So that feeling is just terrible, bro. So hope Bellinger can get healthy, man. We're going to need him. The other guys definitely did step up, man, and rocked out. One thing that I overlooked in this game, when Bellinger got hurt, I thought Tanner was going to have to come up and step up and make a lot of those plays. But Chris Myrick, man, he stepped up, man. He seems to be the same style of tight end as Daniel Bellinger. They're both physical, got great hands, man. I thought that he did a great job coming off the bench. He might only had like one catch in the game or something. Oh, he had 2 catches for 21 yards. So, he just, showed up. And Bellinger's not a guy who gets a ton of volume either, but, they're just very efficient. You got to be, accountable when your name is called. And those guys do that. You don't see them dropping a lot of passes. They're great at tight window catches. So salute to both of them and just hoping Daniel Bellinger can get, back on the right foot, man, and see his way back into the lineup, pun intended. Shout out to Independent Outsider one time, man. Been rocking with us for a couple of seasons. Definitely appreciate that $5 super chat. Should Jags game referees be investigated? The bias in calls were off the chain. Much love to Bells. We're here for you, man. Devin Lloyd needs repercussions. Big facts. As far as referees go, there were a couple of calls in this game that were extremely just out of pocket. I don't know about the late call with Saquon Barkley. That's the one that I'm a little bit questionable about. I don't know. He looked like his shin kind of hit the ground. The roughing the passer call at the end of the game on Dexter Lawrence, that was awful. That's one of the worst calls I've seen all year. That was awful. As far as an investigation being needed, I don't think you got to investigate it, but I do think you need to have some kind of call to action here to just, get the referees, talk about it. I think they need an earpiece, man. They had the guy in the booth talking about the calls during the game. That would help them a lot, and I don't know if they keep a referee up in the booth. That would help a lot too, man. Just have a referee up in the booth, a referee who's looking at the broadcast live that can see, all the angles, not have to go under the hood for every play, and just be able to just send the information down like, hey, man, you guys are getting this one wrong. That's not a roughing the passer. Pick that up. They picked up a couple of flags in this game too on the Giants. And I'm just like, what? Like, it just seemed like they were not in our favor. But I will say this, against the Dallas Cowboys, the referees were definitely on our side. I don't know. Their inconsistency in refereeing is not a good thing. So I agree with you, Independent Outsider. It's definitely something that, we got to bring to our attention here, and it has to be talked about. As far as some kind of investigation, I'm not 100% sure on it, but I definitely appreciate the $5 super chat and you pulling up and rocking out with us, man, on a Monday afternoon. Definitely appreciate that, fam. All right, so it seems most people pretty high on this one. Daniel Jones would be the franchise quarterback if Brian Dable could have got here a couple years earlier. I don't know what that would have did for Josh Allen, though, right? Bills fans might be coming for us right now. Just scrolling up here. Oh, man. Hey, Willie Bean, I appreciate you for bringing this back to my attention. Fabian Moreau, man. Okay, so the hands to the face on the interception, straight up BS. That's a BS call. What I loved about Fabian Moreau in this game is that he did not allow that call, because that was a game ender, right? Game's over, interception. I knew not to get too excited. I'm looking around for paint on the field. I see the flag. I'm like, oh, that's about to be on us. I already knew it. Fabian Moreau, low-key, was the MVP of this game, especially in the fourth quarter, man. I think he's a big reason why this defense started to play better in the fourth quarter. He's covering great. I loved how when he got this interception, he came back and made like 2 or 3 plays late in this game after the interception. He was in on that tackle late. I saw Fabian Moreau get to play a lot. I live here down in Washington, D.C. For those of y'all that don't know, I saw Fabian Moreau get to play a lot of football. And I questioned why Washington let him go. When you see a player who's considered to be top 15, top 20 at the position just kind of fall off a cliff, it's definitely room for concern. I always wonder why that happens. And now Washington is kind of dealing with that right now with William Jackson. Again, it's like another good corner is seeing himself to the bench. He's asking for a trade. I don't know what he did this week as far as the game against the Packers. I couldn't keep my eye on that game at the same time. It was 1 o'clock as well as the New York Giants game. But Fabian Moreau, man, dude balled out, man. Big game ball to Fabian Moreau, straight up. If Daniel Jones gets the main game ball, we got a second game ball. Second game ball got to go to Fabian Moreau. He balled out. He's looking like a guy that the Giants need to keep here in the future. That dude can cover, man. He can definitely cover. They had him out there on an island multiple times, one-on-one, just making big plays, man. So, Willie Bean, I definitely appreciate you bringing that up and bringing that to my attention, man, because I forgot to mention Fabian Moreau in the opening statements about the Giants. All right. Yeah, big shout-out to Fabian Moreau. Big shout-out to Fabian Moreau. That dude balled out, man. Straight up balled out. And the Beard told me he did not play. Jackson is done here in Washington. So, yeah, you know, if the Giants want to go out there, maybe need another corner for a depth piece, we go out there and scoop up Jackson, man. I think he's a good player. I don't know what the Beard's thoughts are on him. I'm going to definitely have to ask him that on our show tomorrow. Make sure y'all pull up, man, 7 p.m. It's going to be a good vibe, man. We're going to be recapping the entire NFC East and talking about what's to come here now that, you know, the Giants sitting at 6-1, Eagles sitting at 6-0. Washington finds themselves back in the mix, man. They're back in the mix, man. 3 wins. You know, if they would have been sitting at what, 2-5, that would have been, that would have been detrimental to them. So they kept their season alive here. Tomorrow's show is going to be a real good one. It's always a good show when the Beards team wins and the Giants win. We can, you know, cheer it up, you know, the little coffee or something, man, and talk our talk about the NFC East. So make sure y'all pull up. All right, so I got one more before I get y'all up out of here. We're going to try to keep it under the 2-hour mark today, man. I definitely appreciate all y'all coming through, rocking with us. I heard this one on Entertainer Stream last night, and I know this one might ruffle a lot of feathers. I gotta pull up something before we get here. Let's see here. Okay, now, yeah, this one might ruffle some feathers. Get ready. This one might ruffle some feathers straight up and down. General Manager Dave Gettleman deserves some of the credit for the New York Giants' success. Chat, let me know what y'all think about this one. I heard Entertainer talking about this one on his stream yesterday, and boy, did it split the room. So I had to bring this one up on the show. Shout out to the Entertainer talking sports, man. The best Giants content creator out there. None of this is possible without that dude, man. Salute to him one time, man. He does a lot of great work for the community. His coverage is impeccable coverage of the New York Giants, bro. I'm all about people that bring value to the Giants community. That's what I'm all about. Can you bring value to the Giants community? If you doubling down on what other people are doing, I'm not going to be a fan of your work. An Entertainer, man, he deserves the credit, man. He's been doing this, paved the lane for a lot of us out here, man. Cats like Cop Pizzle, too, paved the lane for a lot of Giants content creators out here to be able to, you know, put our best foot forward in creating content. Let me know what y'all think about this. General Manager Dave Gettleman deserves some of the credit for this Giants team's success. My man Adam said, triggered. I like that. I like that. All right, let me scroll back a little bit here one time. See why Big Low says sorry. All right, Big Los. Oh, Big Low said, I love how when Moreau went in, they thought they could pick on him. Happens every week. Yeah. And there was another corner that they tried to pick on too when Adoree Jackson went out of the game for a quick second there too. I forget who it was. He was wearing Ahmad Bradshaw's number though, number 44. So I was like, oh, okay. Looking like a little running back out there one time. Jay Jean says that Dable ain't got 10 players, but somehow got these 4 and 5s out of 10 players playing with 11 out of 10 effort. The grit is ridiculous. I love that. I love that. So Jay Ramos 823 says that this is an overreaction. That Dave Gettleman does not deserve any of the credit for the New York Giants' success one time. He gave me three different overreactions one time. Afghan says he actually agrees with the statement on the screen, so he's taking the under one time. J. Jean taking the under. Operative word is some. G-Men for Life says yes, for sure. Jonathan Studio says, I'm out with the laughing emoji. Hey, shout out to Jonathan Studios one time in the building. Lesnar's taking the under and agrees with the statement on the screen one time. Hyphen Wade says, big overreaction. I can see the angle, but absolutely not. You may have got the players on the team, but you didn't help them find a way to maximize the best opportunity. We're gonna talk about that. That's a good statement right there. Cowboys suck agrees with the statement, or he agrees with the Cowboys sucking. I don't know, one of the two. I agree with both. Cowboys, we forget the Cowboys over here. If you're a Cowboys fan, don't feel like you can't pull up and rock with us, though. We hoping that y'all take some L's, take the back seat in the NFC East one time. But he agrees with the statement as well about General Manager Dave Gettleman deserves some of the credit for this Giants team's success one time. Chance says that this is an overreaction. Chaz G, shout out to Chaz G in the building, trying to see what kind of view. What's that, a Mercedes-Benz right there? Big body, I think, man. That's looking fire right there. Shout out to you one time. I'm trying to get my hands on a Mercedes-Benz. He says a couple of his picks worked out, but he had far too many misses. That's a good point, too. AJ Nix in the building says, Awthentik. Hey, are the Jets, the Giants? I'm not too sure what you're trying to ask there. Let me see. Awthentik. Hey, are the Jets the Giants' success? I don't think so, but I don't know what you're trying to say there. Try to repeat that for me. I'll interpret that a little bit better for you one time. I'll keep my eyes out, see if you drop that again, AJ, in the chat one time. G-Man for Life says, give credit where credit is due. It's a good point as well, too. Shout out to 84 in the building one time. You know what it is. He say, right out the gate, stop it. Gettleman slander is accepted at all times. This is a hella overreaction. Shout out to 84 one time in the building. Josh Cologne says, I mean, they have a point. Most of the team is still his draft picks and free agent signings. Truth. He's taking a push. I like that. Let me see. What else we got in the building? It pains me, but yes. A man of the culture says it pains me, but yes, some credit. He could find talent, just not the right coach. This is very true. Heathen says, if it wasn't for Gettleman, we wouldn't have Barkley. So yes, he deserves some of the credit. Thank you for bringing that up. That's a good point right there too, man. I mean, everyone who thought that Saquon Barkley being drafted at number 2, some that still think that. I'm always one of the people that was like, I wanted Saquon at number 2. It was a no-brainer pick for me. I mean, like, did it surprise Giants fans when Saquon Barkley was picked at number 2? Like, because that did not surprise me. Granted, I was not as deep into, like, draft picks and, you know, all the off-season acquisitions and things like that around 2018. I wasn't that deep into it. You know, I was definitely more of, like, just, you know, like, just whoever we draft, whatever. I hope they do well. That's kind of my vibe in 2018. But when I saw Saquon Barkley and how much hype he had, to me, Saquon Barkley was the Reggie Bush of that draft. I was extremely hyped to get him. And the only way you was going to get him is if you went out there and drafted him at number 2, because somebody else was going to definitely scoop up Saquon Barkley. So you got to give Gettleman his credit for that. Brian Howard says, I agree. He drafted and traded for the players who are contributing to this team. I would say he just failed at hitting the right coach. Definitely was 0-2. Yeah, as far as the coaches, he was 0-2, definitely. Willie Bean says this is an overreaction. For every good decision he made, there were 2 to 3 terrible ones. The bad definitely outweighed the good. I can respect that opinion. That's real right there. The problem with Gettleman, this one comes from Cowboys Suck. The problem with Gettleman was the money he gave to free agents, and he couldn't find the right coaching staff to put these players to succeed. This is not an overreaction. It's a good point right there. And the no Mets, no Nets, no Jets says, correction, he's taking the under one time. All right. Jordan says this is an overreaction. The cap that he left is probably more detrimental than any positive we gained from any draft pick. Yeah, that could definitely be true right there. Rafael Cologne's taking the under one time. Thomas, McKinney, Barkley, Jones. For those coaches, for those coaches, he got that wrong. Yeah, he got the coaches wrong. He got some players right. That's definitely facts. And Tudo says, forget about him. I know that's right. Shout out to Tudo one time in the building. Stephen R. says, this is an overreaction. You only have a handful of good picks when overall your draft picks were horrible and barely built the O-line, which all he talked about was the hog mollies and false promises, plus traded OBJ to replace him with Golden Tate. Yeah, and then also paid Kenny Golladay that big bag, the same amount of money that they were paying OBJ. I think OBJ was a 5-year, $90 million deal. Kenny Galladay was a 4-year, $74 million deal. So just complete mismanagement. I always think about it. I'm always like, why did they trade OBJ? Now, we did get Dexter Lawrence back from that trade, and this year's looking like a fantastic player. I mean, Dexter Lawrence is on his way to being an all-pro this year. He's playing some great football. And I didn't talk about that, too, when I talked about coaching in the defense. You know, Brian Dable, this is the first head coach in New York Giants history to start the career at 6-1. The Giants' offensive line gave up 13 sacks in the first 3 games. They've only given up 7 in the last 4. 4 of the sacks came in 1 game. This is progress. And in the win over Jacksonville, Dexter Lawrence finished with 3 pressures, 2 tackles, 2 stops, and an 82.5 pass rush grade from PFF. Dable, Wink, they're doing great things with these players. Wink Martindale, to me, is like solely responsible for this rise in play from Dexter Lawrence, who's been playing just lights out football, man. Lights out football. Shout out to Steven Ars for bringing that up, man. Like, I just don't understand why we traded OBJ. I just don't get it, you know. And I believe it was Snacks Harrison that was sent. We didn't re-sign him after that. And then you get Dexter Lawrence the year before, I believe. There's ways you could have supplemented for D tackle, but I'm extremely happy to have Dexter Lawrence on his team, man. He's the one winning thing from that trade for me. And I think Zimenez came from that trade too. He's been playing pretty decent football as well too, but I'm still salty about that OBJ trade. Sabrina's taking the under. Agrees with the statement on the screen. That's what's up. That's what's up. So not an overreaction that Dave Gettleman deserves some credit for the success of this team. And let me just scroll. Yeah, Saquon. Hyphen Wade says, no, Saquon was the perfect pick. Yeah, for me, Saquon was the perfect pick. I don't care about the injuries. I don't care about all that. Saquon to me, man. And Anime Icon. Shout out to Anime Icon in the building one time. Says Saquon is a weapon, not just a running back like Kamara and Chubb. Now, I will agree with this, but I got to remove Kamara out of that. Kamara is definitely a weapon. You know, to think what Kamara has done in the league so far without a 1,000-yard rushing season is just crazy. I've been asking for the Giants to use Saquon like Kamara for like 3 or 4 years now, and it seems like that's what they're doing. But Saquon does have an extra ability that Alvin Kamara doesn't have, which is the tough between the tackles type running. We're seeing that from Saquon this year, which is something we really haven't seen his whole entire career. So shout out to you, Anime Icon. Appreciate you pulling up and bringing that to our attention. Yeah, Saquon is a game breaker, man. He can change the landscape of a game at any given moment with a big play. And you can see it, like, even in this game against the Jaguars, low yards per carry throughout the whole first, half into the third quarter, and then he just breaks a couple big runs. He ends the day with a 4.6 yards per carry. So Saquon's doing his thing. I just want him to keep the consistency going and just keep it up, man. Keep it up. Keep raising the bar for your play, man. You've been doing a fantastic job. And we saw Landon Collins back out there, man. I saw Landon Collins chasing people around trying to get some tackles. Shout out to G-Men for Life out there for bringing that to my attention, too. Yeah, that was awesome to see that 21 out there doing some things. Jay Jean says, OBJ was a locker room cancer, bad-mouthing Eli all the time. Quickly, I'll respond to this, Jay Jean. I 1,000% disagree with you on this one. Go back, do yourself the favor, and look at the Lil Wayne interview and the comments that he said on Eli Manning. I understand why it got the fan base a little bit riled up because when asked about what is the problem, is it Eli Manning, is it the quarterback, he said, I don't know, which that's a bad answer. You're leaving room for people to talk and make up their own narrative. OBJ wasn't a locker room cancer. Look at what every player has said. Look at what Victor Cruz has said. Look at what Sterling Shepard has said. Look at what Saquon Barkley has said. Look at what Landon Collins has said. What OBJ was trying to allude to is, I'm glad you brought this up during this segment. OBJ was trying to allude to David Gettleman was really the cancer in that locker room. David Gettleman and the culture that he was trying to build there was not proper. And the coaching staff. He was just trying to expose what was wrong with the team without saying it. In return and tiptoeing around what he really should have said, because, he would have got him shipped out of town. He ultimately got shipped out of town anyway. I just think, a young player like OBJ just didn't know how to use his words right at the time. And in return, it definitely bit him in the ass. I think OBJ, from what everyone has said, is not a locker room cancer, and that was a narrative that was kind of being spread around. What you saw, let me bring up a really good point. What you saw from Daniel Jones in this game on Sunday, when he said, catch the ball. I'm not a lip reader, but that's what it looked like he said to me, right? OBJ was the only player on the team back then that had that fiery kind of attitude. Coming from LSU, OBJ wasn't used to losing, man. So to come to New York and be winning 4 games, 5 games a year, that was not a good thing for him. He had to learn how to deal with losing. That everyone has to do that. Daniel Jones now, he regrets the fired up kind of demeanor that he had, but I like it because to me that just shows you want to win. You're holding people accountable. OBJ was that guy. He was the one coming back to the sidelines. Yeah, he was doing it a little bit too much, you know, kicking nets, throwing helmets at nets, getting himself hit, all of that sideline stuff that comes with maturity. You got to grow in this league. We saw from Chris Carter, one of the best wide receivers of my time. We saw it from him. He was a hothead, partied a lot, was doing a bunch of crazy stuff early on in his career. And he even said it himself. He had to get right or he was going to be out of the league or he was going to get out the league. He ended up getting right. And OBJ seems to have gotten right. I don't like how he's teasing us on Twitter now, though, kind of making it seem like him and Saquon Barkley are teammates. You know, I don't want you to be teasing that comeback. But I just don't think he was a locker room cancer. I don't want to talk about that too much, but definitely don't think he was a locker room cancer. Shout out to Zach Phillips one time in the building, man, for that $9.99 super chat one time. I'm still pissed about the no flag on Daniel B getting his eye ripped out. Some people should be fined, should be open to investigation. Yeah, that part of it, that was sketchy. And I'll tell you what else was sketchy in this game. The tackle on Wan'Dale Robinson early on where they twisted up his leg, and then the homie who tackled him was literally holding his leg like a wrestling move down at the bottom of the pile, like turning his leg as he's trying to get up, man. Like they got to find a way to just keep play like the dirty play. There's no room for that in the NFL, man. With how fast these players are moving, you cannot be playing dirty, man. It's going to cost somebody their health out there on the field, and I don't want to see that for the New York Giants players. So that's a good point you bring up, Zach Phillips. Definitely appreciate you supporting the channel, man. And you're a new face over here. Welcome to the family. Definitely appreciate you rocking with us on this Monday afternoon, man. It's lit over here. The Giants are sitting at 6-1 right now, man. Salute to them. That's major. And let me just get caught up here one time. Let's make sure we good. Yeah, man. Okay, so my thoughts on this whole Dave Gettleman thing. Some credit. Some of these players came from him. Saquon Barkley is a no-brainer draft pick. Andrew Thomas is another one. No-brainer draft pick. Ooh, I like this right here. Dominic Hickman. Shout out to Dominic. He says, why don't the NFL give flagrant fouls? That's a good thing. Like that. You know, in college, they do the thing where, like, if you do, like, an egregious targeting or something like that, they'll just kick you right out the game. And I think it's a good learning lesson for players. Maybe the NFL can implement that a little bit. I'm having some coffee, you know, at 3:27 right now, which is my morning over here, East Coast time. I'm in Washington, D.C. Y'all know what it is. But, yeah, I definitely agree with you, Dominic. Could definitely do some flagrant fouls and whatnot just to keep these players a little bit more safe. We'll get to a couple questions, man, and then we'll get y'all up out of here. As far as the general manager thing, yeah, he deserves some success. I'll leave it right there. So we'll call it a push until the end of the year because we got to see how many of these players are actually going to stick around throughout this Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll regime as well, too. So I'll take the push until the end of the year on that one. And we'll take a couple of questions. This was the first week I used the Giants' white logo this week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Thought it paired a little bit better. Still got the dub. I've been kind of throwing superstitions out the window this year. You know, I wore my jersey a couple games. I wore just regular clothes a couple of games. No fandom type vibes. You know, the gnome. You know, I don't know if y'all knew about the gnome. I had this New York Giants gnome. One of my cats jumped up on the table and knocked it off the table. And it broke, it shattered. I've had that gnome for about 5-6 years, and I think the curse is up. So the superstitions, I'm throwing them out the window pretty much. And the Giants are sitting at 6-1, man. So ain't nothing I could do down here in this studio that's going to change the way the New York Giants are playing football, man. In Daboll, we trust, straight up and down. And let me get to this super chat real quick, and I'm gonna jump back up to one of these questions that I saw that was very interesting. Shout out to Cortez Smith one time in the building. Appreciate that $1.99 super chat, brother. Says Orlovsky talking that like he had a Hall of Fame career. ESPN for you. Yeah, man. You know, just because Orlovsky had a bad career doesn't warrant him to not talk about football. I will say that. I do express your feelings here, though. I feel you, man. Like, sometimes you got to watch out how you talk when you talk, especially. And today with Dan Orlovsky, he took an opportunity to speak on Daniel Jones that I think wasn't the right timing, you know. And I always talk to the Beard about this too. I'm like, make sure when you pull up, right, to a stream, you know, if it's a big loss, whatever, let your feelings out, let your emotions go, right? But I always tell the Beard, make sure when you pull up to a stream, you woo-saw and you get the emotions out, right? Because I know what that's like. If you all our content is up from the years past. If you go look at some of our earlier streams from like 2018, 2019, like I literally would let my emotions get the best of me. And I had to teach myself that. You know, it's like just like how on stage as an artist, I had to teach myself that when something goes wrong with my band behind me, don't be giving them, yo, what the hell y'all doing back there kind of looks, because now you letting the whole crowd know something's wrong. When you're on TV, you can't get out of pocket like that. You got to be even keel and just give your take. If you think that Daniel Jones is not a reason why the New York Giants are winning, at least leave some room for interpretation there, because we have won 6 games already this year, and a lot of it has to do with Daniel Jones. Like, if you are going to say that Daniel Jones is not the reason, well, tell me the quarterback that would be the reason. Don't just say he's not a reason, because right now he's the best quarterback we have on this roster, and he's winning us games. That's the bottom line. So shout out to Cortez Smith one time for pulling up, supporting the channel, man. That's extremely important, man, for us to raise the bar and do what we do over here at Awthentik and the Beard. So salute to you, fam. And there was a question I wanted to go back to. I think it was from Heathen. I believe it was from. Yeah, this one was from Heathen. Heathen said, "Do you think Robinson is a better version of Kadarius Toney?" Okay, that's a great question. All right, so there are things that Wan'Dale Robinson definitely does better than Kadarius Toney. I think that Wan'Dale Robinson is a better, crispier route runner than Kadarius Toney is, but I do think that Kadarius Toney is more elusive and can make men miss faster. There are things that both of them do that the other one can't do. When we first drafted Wan'Dale Robinson, you know, I just like every other New York Giants fan, I looked at it like, damn, why are they doubling down on the slot position? And I think they really had a game plan, and the game plan was either, you know, Kadarius Toney might not be as reliable as they thought, or to move Kadarius Toney out to the outside and be able to use Kadarius Toney and move him around as a chess piece, you know, not a gadget piece, but similar to that, where you could scheme him open for certain type of plays. And we saw it early on. I mean, they tried the double pass type thing with Kadarius Toney, the reverse pass. They've tried a couple trick plays with him and whatnot. But I do think that, you know, Kadarius Toney is an X factor, that Kadarius Toney presents a skill set that, dare I say, not one wide receiver in the NFL has. The way that he makes guys miss after the catch, I've never seen any wide receiver do what Kadarius Toney does. The biggest problem, obviously, is the health. We got to get him healthy and keep him on the field. And I'm still rooting for Kadarius Toney. I'm still on his side. I tweeted out the other day, you know, this is an appreciation post for the guy. I think you can't, with injuries, man, that's something that you're not in control of that, you know, and he plays very elusive. He's going to be a guy that's going to get hit. He's going to make a lot of people miss. I think he has incredible awareness. He has a different skill set than Wan'Dale Robinson. Wan'Dale Robinson reminds me of a Cole Beasley, but better. You know, he can make those tight window catches. And, like Wan'Dale Robinson looking taller. I don't know. Like, Wan'Dale Robinson was looking kind of tall out there on the field. I don't know if it's because he's got great verticals and he can jump up and get some of these passes. I don't know, man. But Wan'Dale Robinson, I cannot wait until we can get Kadarius Toney and Wan'Dale Robinson on the field at the same time. And I know a lot of people have written off Kenny Golladay, but he would be a great addition to this as well. To have Kenny Golladay out there on the split, and then to have Wan'Dale Robinson and Kadarius Toney, and bringing in Darius Slayton as a guy that you can chuck it downfield and be able to make the big play. That takes this wide receiver room from a D- to a B-, if you ask me. So hopefully Kadarius Toney can get healthy, man, because the Giants are going to need it down the stretch here when we're making our push towards the playoffs and also trying to make a push in the playoffs. They're going to need Kadarius Toney and every healthy wide receiver to be out there. Love that question, though, Heathen. Definitely appreciate you pulling up, man, and being a part of the discussion. That's a great point you bring up, because a lot of fans thought about that. I'm the kind of guy that I just call it like I see it when I see it. That's the best way I can describe it. When we drafted Wan'Dale Robinson, I can't sit here and tell you like, oh, yeah, he was on my draft board and blah, blah, blah. I'd be straight up lying to you, right? But all I did was go and look at all the highlights and go look at the tape from Kentucky, and just used my eyes, man, and tried to assess it the best I could. I thought Wan'Dale Robinson was going to be a guy the day he got into the league, man. He's quick, fast, can be a running back, can do things after the catch. He can create separation on routes. We know last year that was a big problem for the New York Giants was route separation. Wan'Dale Robinson is proven now that, yeah, he's going to be a guy. He's going to be a main pivotal piece in this New York Giants offense. Brian Dable and them, you start to see all this pre-snap motion now come back to life with Wan'Dale Robinson out there on the field. So I'm all here for it, man. Let me see what the Atlantic crossover is talking about. Shout out to the Atlantic crossover. This is a new face in the building as well. Orlovsky tried to make out that people were saying like Danny was Lamar or that he was winning games with 300-yard games. He argued a point no one made. Yeah, and I think he argued that because Rex Ryan did talk about that on the Get Up as well. He says something about, meanwhile, while Daniel Jones is winning games in the fourth quarter, Lamar Jackson is losing games in the fourth quarter. And Dan Orlovsky said, I love you, Rex, but don't mention Daniel Jones in the same breath as Lamar Jackson. But that's BS right there. Why not? Why can't we mention Daniel Jones with the likes of guys like Lamar Jackson? I'll tell you like this, and a lot of people give me a lot of pushback about this, right? Because me and the Beard have both been on Jalen Hurts since he entered the league and since he started starting games. I'm like, that kid looks like he can win games, okay? It's not pretty, especially his first year was not pretty. His first year as a starter, he was doing a lot with his legs. He was in a similar situation to Daniel Jones, except he had a good offensive line. People like to look at the weapons that they brought over there this year with the emerging of Devonta Smith and also bringing in A.J. Brown. But when you look at 2021, the wide receiver core was drastically different in Philadelphia for Jalen Hurts. You know, he had Greg Ward over there. He had I always forget this other wide receiver's name. He was a practice squad guy that they brought up, and they did see some productivity from him. I believe his last name started with an F. I'm missing his name right now, but he's not on the roster anymore either. Then you had Quez Watkins, Quez Watkins, you could look at him as a Darius Slayton. He can make the big plays, and that's about it. He's not a guy who's going to give you a bunch of volume. And now you bring in these new wide receivers, and Jalen Hurts looks like a totally different quarterback. Nick Sirianni is finding ways to call his game plan more effectively now. Same thing goes with Lamar Jackson. How many people did you see out there on Twitter saying, he can't throw, he can't throw? Even after Lamar Jackson won the MVP, led the league in passing touchdowns in 2019, I believe it was, people were still saying he can't throw. He leads the league in passing touchdowns this year as well. People still saying Lamar Jackson can't throw. I don't need Cap Rooney at quarterback, okay? I don't need a guy to just stand there like a statue and sit in the pocket and try to make plays from the pocket. Some of you traditionalists that have been watching football since the 80s, you want a quarterback to just stand there and he can't run, and you call it a knock on him and try to call him a running back. Well, Daniel Jones is doing a lot of that. I said the stat in the beginning of the show. He's second right now of all quarterbacks in the NFL as far as rushing yards go, and he's doing a lot of damage with his legs. It don't got to be pretty, y'all. Win the game. Put your offense in position to win the game. You cannot wake up Monday morning, October 24th, and say that Daniel Jones is not putting his team in position to win games. I don't care if he has 71 yards passing or if he has 200 yards passing or 300 yards passing for that matter. Daniel Jones is doing everything right. In this game, and Dan Orlovsky tried to hold this against Daniel Jones, the Giants threw the ball only 7 times in the second half. 7 total throws in the second half. And only 1 throw in the fourth quarter. And Orlovsky's trying to use that against Daniel Jones. The quarterback can only do what he is called to do out there. The game plans don't call for Daniel Jones to go out there and throw the rock 40 times. We've seen what those game plans look like. They don't look that good. So for me, I got to agree with Colin Cowherd on this. I don't care what it looks like. Is it winning football? Daniel Jones is playing winning football. Jalen Hurts is playing winning football. Lamar Jackson is playing winning football, despite those fourth quarter collapses that he had for 2 weeks straight there. 3 games they collapsed in the fourth quarter. A lot of it wasn't on him, but I will say the collapse against the New York Giants was on Lamar Jackson, 100%. You cannot fumble that ball in that situation at the end of the game, and you cannot throw an interception after that fumbled snap. But let's just call it what it is. If you saw Daniel Jones in your backyard field playing football, and he was out there and they're winning games the way he was, you would not be complaining. There's something about the NFL where people are caught up on tradition. They don't want guys coming in trying to revolutionize the position. Daniel Jones, to me, is the perfect balance of a good thrower and a good runner. And I'm on record saying that the kid was not athletic last year. I said he was not a mobile quarterback, but he has some athleticism. I didn't think he was a mobile quarterback. But if he can continue this with Brian Dable, well, he's a mobile quarterback within this system for damn sure. The kid is definitely doing it with his legs, and he's getting it done. I got no complaints. I don't need to see the 400-yard game, 300-yard game. I'd love to see it. Don't get me wrong. I want to see a game where we just go out there, and I don't got to worry about it coming down to the fourth quarter with the New York Giants having to come back. I'd love to see a game where Daniel Jones just 404 yards, 3 touchdowns through the air. I'd love it. But if we don't get it, it's okay. Daniel Jones is finding ways to win games. It ain't pretty. I'm not even going to say it ain't pretty because it is pretty. It ain't the way that you want him to win. For me, it don't matter. Go out there, win the damn game, Daniel, and that's what he's been doing. Shout out to Jeremiah Butler one time for holding us down over here at Awthentik in the Beard with the $4.99 super chat. He said, I can't hold you. Dable is good for your franchise, but bring back Judge. I'm sick of this. Jeremiah don't want to see the Giants winning. I'm not sure who Jeremiah's team and who his team is. He must be an Eagles fan or a Cowboys fan. Oh, I see the little Eagles emoji right there. So he is an Eagles fan. Yeah, he wants Joe Judge back so they can get back to winning. There's going to be some great matchups, Jeremiah, man. I hope you pull up when we get to play y'all Eagles, man. That's going to be a great matchup. I cannot wait to get to that point in the season. The Giants is on the up and up, man. I appreciate you, especially, man, as an Eagles fan, showing up, man, and showing some support to the channel. That means a lot, brother. Travis Fulgham. Annie brought me to Travis Fulgham. Bar right there. That's the wide receiver I couldn't remember. I never can remember Travis Fulgham's name. But I do think he should have a job in the league, man. He was a no-name kind of guy, but he did a lot for y'all in 2020 and in 2021. Or maybe it was 2019 and 2020 because you're saying that Fulgham was gone in 2021. So salute to you. And Nick DeWick's in the building one time too. What up, fam? Hope all is well on this Monday afternoon, sitting at 6-1, man. All right, I'm going to just catch up to the chat, man. We'll get some final thoughts on this one, man, and we'll close this out. I appreciate y'all rocking with me for 2 hours today, man, on this victory week for the New York Giants, man. We'll answer a couple more questions, and we'll make a move, and y'all can enjoy the rest of y'all Victory Monday afternoon here one time. Shout out to the Atlantic crossover in the building one time. Says, what deal would you offer him right now for the best for both parties? I would offer Daniel Jones, let's see. I think you got to offer him like 35. I just think that's what the market calls for. So I would say today, somewhere between 30 and 35, something like that. Bookend says, Dan Orlovsky wishes he had DJ skill set. I feel you on that, bro. I definitely feel you on that. Let's bring this vibe in one time. Crypto Move said, Philly scared. Hey, they might. Listen. You'd be lying if you said the Philadelphia Eagles are not at least worried about the New York Giants. They definitely worried about us. 6-1 right now. Before you could look at it like, 3-1, 4-1. They looking at it like, they still had the game lead on us. This game coming out the bye for the Philadelphia Eagles is so pivotal. They got to get a win if they want to keep pace with us now. They got to keep pace with us now. That's what it is. I'm looking for them to take an L and be sitting at the same record or worse than the New York Giants come week 8. We'll see how that goes, man. Make sure y'all pull up on Thursday for that preview show, man. It's definitely going to be a memorable one for sure. Let me see what else we got here. I'm just scrolling through, man, just seeing if I ain't missing nothing from y'all, man. Definitely appreciate the whole gang in the building today, man. Shout out to Diggy one time. He says $3 million, 90 mil, or 3 years, 90 mil. Make sure y'all go sub up to Diggy, man. He's dropping nothing but fire content over there. Hey, Diggy, the Giants at Washington game, we got to do some content for that. I know you right here in Petworth. I believe you might have moved. I'm not too sure, but I think you still in the city. Make sure we link up. And all y'all Giants fans, make sure y'all go show Diggy some support on his channel, man. Just search Diggy546 one time. You'll find his channel. He's putting out some good content for us, man. Show him some love over there. Let me see. Bub said Philly not a second half team. We got a chance to beat them. That's true. And Big Low said 3 year, 90 million as well. A lot of people like that 390. They think that's pretty fair. Book and Tackles agrees with that as well. And Diggy said he's in ATL. We still got to link up, do some content though, man, for that game for sure, man. Yo, salute to all of y'all in the building, man. This has been a fantastic show. Giants Nation showed up proper today. Well-dressed for this Victory Monday, man. This game, man, showed a lot. Daniel Jones, man, I love the energy we're seeing from this kid, man. Definitely balled out. Darius Slayton with the big early touchdown, man, with a little bit of tight coverage on him there. Double clutched and caught that football, man. Set the pace for the New York Giants, man. Brian Dable, first coach to start 6-1 ever for the New York Giants. That's amazing, man. That's a great thing, especially looking forward. And the Giants have a pretty easier schedule here for the next 3 games, man. There's a possibility, man, we're sitting at 10 wins in no time, man. I'm here for it, man. I'm going to be thinking very optimistic for the rest of the season as far as the Giants until they prove me otherwise, man. If they can prove to me and start losing some games or something like that, then maybe I'll drop down to my normal realistic vibes. But I got to be optimistic with the New York Giants sitting at 6-1. Daniel Jones, 6th in the NFL right now in QBR, man. The kid is just playing lights out. Love that QBR stat, man. It tells you a lot about what you can't see just on a normal stat box. The Giants are definitely balling out. Saquon Barkley doing his thing. They're finding ways to win games like a team, man. This is what I asked for when I first jumped on YouTube. I just wanted some winning football. And that's exactly what we got, man. Shout out to everybody throwing them biceps up in the chat. For those of y'all that are new here, the way we end every show, man, we throw biceps in the chat. We got 118 still in the building. Let's see as many biceps as we can see before we get up out of here, man. Shout out to Edward Squires one time in the building. He says, Awthentik, you're always the best, and great show as always. Y'all are the best, man. I could not do this without y'all. We're growing together, man. Like, as the channel grows, I'm starting to learn more about how to present this content to y'all. And, the community is growing along with y'all, man. And I couldn't be more happy about that, man. Me and the Beard have built this community for now 3 years, going on 4 years now. And I'm glad we did it. I'm glad the Beard pulled up and started his YouTube channel and convinced me to start one. And I have a lot of spare time, man. I'm a producer and an engineer for, my day job. I run a studio here in Washington, D.C. called All or Nothing Studios. So I get a lot of spare time, man, and I get to just kind of chop it up with y'all and talk Giants football. And I just couldn't be more grateful, man. Things are going well. Things are definitely going well. And when the New York Giants are winning football games, it makes your week that much better, man. It's just, you start that Monday off and you ready to go, man. You energized, you got some pep in your step. You get to walk out the door wearing your Giants gear and dare somebody say something to you. You know what I'm saying? You get to talk your smack to anybody else who's a fan of a team in the division. It's a beautiful thing, man. So I'm here for it, man, and I appreciate all y'all rocking with us, man. 2 hours on this Monday afternoon. Salute to all of y'all, man. The chat is going crazy with the biceps. Love that, man. That's what's up. Make sure y'all check us out. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing an in-depth recap of not only this game, but all of the NFC East games. There was 3 this past week. The Commanders took on the Packers, and they beat the Packers, man, surprisingly, to stay in the mix. And the Dallas Cowboys took on the Detroit Lions, and they beat them late in that game as well. So make sure y'all pull up 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Same place, different time. We'll be here chopping it up with all the games in the NFC East, man. It's gonna be a fun time, man. So definitely show up, show some love. And if you're a new face today, man, hit that subscribe button. Salute to us over here one time. We breached the 2,600 mark today, all because of y'all support. So big love for y'all for that, man. Definitely appreciate that. And we end every show the same way here, man, over at Awthentik and the Beard, man. And it's a nod to the homie Combat Jack, who, when podcasting was becoming a thing, I was very slow to come around the corner on podcasting and listening to podcasts. And Combat Jack started a podcast called The Combat Jack Show, where they interviewed former rappers. And I feel like Noriega kind of took a bit from what Combat Jack was doing, which was all about giving flowers to people while they were here. And unfortunately, we lost Combat Jack a couple of years ago to cancer. And Combat Jack was not only was he Haitian, and I'm Haitian as well, but he was just a spark as far as the hip-hop community and that bridge of the hip-hop community getting to the podcast community. So I end every show with a saying from Combat Jack. I always start off by saying, raise that bar, keep living those dreams, y'all, because the universe flows in Technicolor and surround sound, man. We don't got time for that black and white vibe. So that's a nod to the homie. RIP to Combat Jack one time, man. And y'all keep living those dreams, man. Keep raising that bar. When the Giants are winning games, it makes it so much easier to raise that bar and be able to enjoy your week and get off on that right foot. So big shout out to y'all. I appreciate all the support in the building today, man. Make sure y'all check us out tomorrow. Y'all be good. enjoy some Monday Night Football tonight. I forget who the game is. I don't think it's that great of a lineup. Let me actually look at that before we get out of here so I can tell y'all. It is the Bears at Patriots, I believe. So definitely enjoy the game. It's always better when the New York Giants are winning, man. And I have a saying here too where I say bad Giants football is better than no Giants football. But man, the Giants playing winning football, it does not get no better than that, man. So thank y'all for tuning in, man. Hope y'all enjoyed the show. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on y'all way out. Y'all be good, man. Keep living those dreams. Keep raising that bar. Peace out, y'all.